Yo, this is Steve Bloom, and you're watching Moana Nui Podcast. We'll be starting soon. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Veronica Taylor, and from myself and Ash Ketchum, I just want to say, Moana Nui, I choose you!
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Moana Nui Podcast. We're very excited to have you with us. And of course, for those that are tuning in for the first time, I'm Dana, the other half of the Moana Nui Podcast. And my co host, Moana, of course, is traveling for work. But we're definitely excited for this episode, which we will dive into momentarily. But before we get started, of course, reminding about some Kickstarters we have out there. Moana's Kickstarter for her third children's book, Nokoa Nohea, is currently out there. She has 8 more days on her Kickstarter. So definitely click on the link that is in your comment section and definitely gives your support to that Kickstarter so they can make that third book happen. And of course, also Malachi Bailey, friend of the show, his first issue of her as a comic with Wingless Comics, its Kickstarter is also going on. It will be ending in about 6 days. So definitely make sure you check out that Kickstarter. That link is also in the comment section. Definitely click on that link and make sure you pledge to support that comic series that is getting started shortly through Wingless Comics. And of course, definitely want to bring up our guest co-host. As y'all know, Malachi loves to handle anything that may be X-Men, aka Storm, or Marvel. But of course, we have someone that is very, very much part of the DC fandom and fans right there. So and you saw him on our Marvel versus DC panel. Let's welcome Kyle. He's going to be our guest moderator today with our panelists tonight. So thank you so much for joining us, Kyle.
Thank you so much, Dana. I'm awesome. Glad to be back. Thank you for having me again. It's great last time, great last conversation. And I think tonight is going to be just as much fun. So, yeah.
Exactly. Well, of course, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, and I'm going to bring all the panelists to the front and let y'all dive in to talk about DC's newest movie, Black Adam. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Kyle.
All right. Thank you. All right. So tonight, of course, we're here to talk about Black Adam. The newest installment.
I know he's fluttered because he was like fighting behind the scenes.
It's all right. Everybody's wrong sometimes.
But talk about Black Adam. But before we get into that, first I want to say welcome to everybody who's tuning in for the first time, or if you're a return viewer, I want to say welcome. Also want to get into our panel here, so just go one by one to start with the top. So Joy, you want to start?
Hi everybody, my name is Joy Stevens, but today my name is Joy Adam because I'm claiming it. I call Diz. So I got the last name, he's my husband.
All right. Furious, go ahead.
I'm Furious. That's what most people know me as. Comic nerd, engineer, math nerd, all that good stuff. Big Marvel guy. But I do dabble in some DC stuff.
Hey, we love it around here. We love the DC love. We love the DC love. All right. Teresa, why don't you go and introduce yourself?
I'm Teresa. I guess it says Joy is Joy Adam. I should have made myself Black Teresa. We could split the name. But I am so far known as the non-comic book reader. I love the movies and the TV, and I look to my fellow panelists for the comic book canon.
Okay. All right. Next we have Simone.
Hey guys, cloud engineer and big Harry Potter fan. A cosplayer. Just a blurred.
There you go. There we go. And last but certainly not least, we have James, my man James.
Just a big nerd of the entire genre from movies, comic books, manga, anime, cartoons. Going back well over, I was going to say a number, but I don't want to date myself. I'm old. Let's just put it that way.
James, you'll be proud of me. I was doing a day-long retreat for one of my clients up here in New York, and I referenced Black Clover and Dragon Ball Z in the same 30 minutes.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Very nice, very nice. Well, again, glad to see you guys. James, good to meet you. Joy, Adam, nice to meet you as well. So for well, let's not dilly-dally, let's get into it. So Black Adam. Well, how about this? We'll let you guys go first, and then I'll pretty much tell how I felt about the movie. So Joy, why don't you go ahead and give your take as far as what you thought of the film?
Okay. I like the film. I thought because I'm a Marvel fan, but Marvel earned my fandom because I wasn't deep into the. Okay, so I'm one of those people that fell in love with the X-Men during the 90s cartoon, and then I started following Marvel, etc. But they earned my fandom, and I wanted to love DC, but they kept letting me down over and over again. It's like that dude that say he gonna call you and he ghosts. Like, what? Why you do me like this? And so I was ready to just write them off, but I love The Rock, and so I was like, I'm gonna go see this little ragged ass movie, see what's going on. And I was very much not only pleasantly surprised but impressed because the movie was good. It was honestly not to overplay it, but I felt like they had pulled a little bit of knowledge from that Marvel formula of having a little bit serious, have some heartstrings be tugged, keep it light, have some funny moments that break up the gravity of it all, and some good fight scenes. And I thought they did all of it really, really well. I saw it twice already.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and I would go. I don't know if I'd go see it a third time, but I really liked it, and I thought it was probably the best DC movie I've seen since Dark Knight.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Furious.
Okay, so before Furious starts,
okay.
I'm gonna make Joy rank her DC movies.
Yeah. I'm curious about this.
I want to rank them.
Okay. Okay. So,
just the ones that came out. Just the ones that
came out. What? There's movies that didn't come out. Like, what are you saying?
I didn't know if you was gonna go all the way back. And I just the ones that came out.
Yeah, she's right. Rock, all this. Yes, I loved all of them. And my favorite thing in the Black Adam movie was like me and you. If you've seen the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Me and you.
Yeah.
Me and you. I love that. But I think so. Dark Knight was definitely my favorite DC movie because I thought Heath Ledger made it. I mean, aside from the tragic things that happened after the movie, a lot of people felt like they kind of canonized, as in like sainthood, canonized the movie after that because he died. But the movie was good. It was just good. It was perfect. It was everything I ever wanted from a Batman movie. And they could just stop making Batman after that. Next would be the third one with Bane. I thought that was a good one. Then I'd probably put in the two Michael Keaton Batman movies.
Okay.
Then I might throw in Wonder Woman. and then the first Batman Begins, and then it's just trash after that. Everything else. Well, okay, Suicide Squad, and then Peacemaker, if I can count that.
Which
Suicide
Which Suicide Squad? The first one or the
First
second?
one.
The first one.
The
Will
first.
Smith?
No. The second one.
Okay.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide
Okay.
Squad.
All right.
And then the Harley Quinn standalone movie that was weird and stupid. I actually kind of like that. Then the first Suicide Squad, and then Justice League, and then like everything that was ever made in the history of movies, and then Batman vs Superman is like down there under the mud with the excrement and the like pigeon feces are down there.
Oh my god!
You know what? Your opinion is valued, but blasphemous. And I didn't even hear the Batman. That was like, I didn't hear the Batman anywhere.
No,
I didn't hear
you didn't.
Aquaman. It's down there with the pigeon feces.
Yeah, I mean, the Batman. You talking about the new one with
Pattinson?
Little boy.
Okay. So I actually thought that movie was good for what it was supposed to be. I don't know that I would change it. Just throw it in there somewhere after after I stopped caring. It's the number one of movies after I stopped caring about them.
Okay.
But I will say Robert Pattinson did what he was supposed to do, because that was supposed to be a Batman that was young and still reeling from a tragedy from 10 years ago and immature and learning how to be a detective and kind of freaking stupid. And my favorite part was when he fell off that bus and that was classic. Way to take a hit.
I wonder if you could take that and match it with the video of that little girl falling down the.
Oh.
Ouch. I sure we could.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
We already used that for the locks.
All right. Oh my goodness. All right. So Furious, what did you think about Black Adam?
I loved it. There were, honestly, for me, there were very few low points of this movie. And it was interesting because James and I were discussing this either yesterday or the day before. For me, the low points of this movie are things that the general audience probably won't know, but it's more things that comic book nerds would pick up on. I don't know if now was the time to talk about that or if we'll talk about that later. But
we touch on it later. It's fine.
Okay, then yeah, I can say I loved it. Like I said, very few low points for me. The low points would only be known by comic book nerds. I'm not gonna sit here and rank it a 10 out of 10 because it's not a 10, but it is an amazing movie that I think everybody needs to see.
Okay. All right. Teresa, what did you think about the masterpiece that is Black Adam?
I enjoyed it very much. Did you say masterpiece? I don't know about a masterpiece.
Masterpiece saw Black Adam.
And I bet you liked it too.
Pure satire, but go ahead.
Right. No, I enjoyed it very much. And I think it was Joy that said that she kind of felt like they maybe took some cues from the Marvel formulations or whatever, because it was a good drama action movie. They put in some humor to lighten the mood. I think the casting was spot on. Like every role was really, really well cast. The animation of the different heroes and their powers or whatever they were, I think just really great. I mean, I was really entertained. I was very pleasantly surprised because DC has just done some weird stuff with their movies, and I'm sick of Batman. I didn't realize how much I didn't like Robert Pattinson until he became a Batman. But I'll stick to Black Adam. Really enjoyed it. If they do a sequel, I'm looking forward to it. They need to do more of this.
Okay.
It's very, very disappointing that it took as long as it did, and that it took what it took to get it released. But I mean, I really thought it was great. Dr. Fate was amazing. Hawkman was amazing. Adam Smasher was hilarious. It was just just very entertaining, and I often say that that's all I really ask of a movie, is that I be entertained, and I really was.
Okay. All right. Simone, what did you
Okay,
think?
so you might not like this.
Okay. Or I might. You never know.
I loved it. Oh, the movie I loved. Some of the people I could have. Adam Smasher, you're comic relief, and then you wasn't that funny.
Right.
So you irritated me every time you came on screen, and it just bothered me. What was her name? Tornado? What
Cyclone.
that was her name?
Cyclone.
Okay, loved
Cyclone,
her. Loved her. Loved the effects that they had her do.
Her whole aesthetic.
Twirling, everything. She was amazing. Now Hawkman, I liked him. I love the wings. I love his look, but he's my tech geek, and I kind of found it hard to see him as, oh, you're supposed to be the lead and you're the badass, and I found it hard just to take him that seriously. It's like when I watched can't remember the name of the doctor, but it was Doctor Who, where I see him as Barty Crouch Jr. and I can't see him as the doctor. And I had to get used to him, but I like Matt Smith better than I liked him. But
David Tennant.
Yeah, David Tennant. Yeah. And it's like I couldn't really see him as that. I love him now because I had to get used to it. Then I think I have to keep watching it in order to get the tech geek guy that he plays a lot out of my head to what he's playing right now. But I think he did a good job.
Okay. All right. James?
I can understand where Simone's coming from, because every time I see Aldis Hodge, the first thing I think of is his character from Leverage.
That's what I couldn't think of. I couldn't think. I was like Leverage. I couldn't think of it. That's exactly
it does take a while to see a character like that doing something, an actor like that doing something vastly different. And I'm glad I've seen him in other things before this. It wasn't that jarring for me as it was for Simone. Overall, I like the movie a lot. I won't go as far as say I loved it. 7.5, 8 out of 10 is pretty much my score on the film. Definitely the best thing out of Warner Brothers / DC in a while, as we were discussing before we came on. Top to bottom, casting, special effects, the way the story was told, the pacing, everything was wonderful overall. As Furious said, we did talk earlier this week. And because we know a deeper history of a lot of the characters, yes, I did have issues with one thing that really irked the hell out of me the entire film. I know we'll get to it later, but aside from that one thing, which is probably why I gave it 7.5 more so than an 8, but it's right there on the cusp of 8. But yeah, and like Teresa said as well, it's sad that, we get this movie 15 years after Dwayne Johnson is announced as Black Adam. Warner Brothers just dragging balls on the pavement, like not wanting to do anything, just capitalizing off an announcement. Like, how long can you milk an announcement? But, we got artists.
You know what, James? I think if they made it any earlier, we wouldn't be saying that we liked it.
That is true.
I think he had. I think he had to grow as an actor.
As actor,
I think he had to grow as an actor. Yeah,
I agree. And you know what? It's probably good as well that his production company is the one that put this together with very little from Warner Brothers, which is a good thing because they had their way, this film would have never got made.
So I would say, I think if with The Rock as an actor and with everybody else that was cast, I think they could have done this maybe 5 or 7 years ago, and it still would have been if they had filmed this movie 5-7 years ago, it would still been as good. Special effects are probably good enough to do what we needed to do. But to your point about it being his theater, his production company that did it, I think we wouldn't have had this movie because Warner Brothers would have made different decisions. They'd have been all about what kind of dolls can we make off of this? Where we need more white people in this, whatever they might have done,
Right.
would have been different. And the creative control that The Rock exuded over this is what I think made it perfect. Because again, going back to that idea of being similar to the Marvel formula, Rock is a fan of Black Adam, and a fan made this movie. And that's what they tend to do more on the Marvel side, is let fans be in charge of the canon, the movies, everything else.
Right. So I went into this movie very optimistic of the movie being like very good. Again, The Rock is a fan. For years has rallied for Black Adam as a character. He wanted to play that character. He jumped to playing that character. That was my perfect fan cast for that character. Going into the movie, like I said, I was enthused. Like I was ready for this to be a really good film. I walked away disappointed.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
I'm a disregard your whole opinion. Batman vs. Superman was good. I really cannot trust.
Hey, he said, who
the hell walks into the movie optimistic?
Wow, that yeah.
I do.
Very good point.
I do. Look, just no. So not just any DC movie, just based off the moves that have happened. The moves that have happened, as of late, with a new head of charge as far as Warner Brothers, all the moves that Warner Brothers is looking to make, giving DC their own studio. I'm thinking, and the fact that prior to this movie coming out, we knew Big Soups was going to be at the end of it, so I had a lot of hope. Going to. Oh, you didn't know it prior going into it?
Nope.
Oh wow.
I didn't know that either.
No idea.
So The Rock did an interview on Jimmy Kimmel. I think it was like either Jimmy Kimmel, where he kind of like spoiled that Henry Cavill was going to be at the end of that movie. So yeah,
I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, I don't.
But anyway, what got into the movie was optimistic as far as it being very good. Was let down. And I think a lot of the reasons why I was let down, because knowing the back, like me being a comic book reader, being an avid comic book reader and knowing about Black Adam, I wanted to see a particular version of that character. And I don't think I got that in the film. I think I got The Rock as in a Black Adam suit, but not The Rock as Black Adam. And I walked away disappointed because of that. Pierce Brosnan killed it as Dr. Fate. Love Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. There's a certain thing I did not like about him playing Dr. Fate, but other than that, love Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. I could not stand that kid.
Me and you.
Which kid?
Not Al Smasher, the little boy.
Oh my God, the little boy. Are you kidding
boy.
me?
Yeah.
The narration at the beginning of that movie annoyed the hell out of me. I'm like,
Wow.
You can shut up. Your voice is annoying. Oh my God. I hated it. I was like, they could have let the narration out of the beginning portion of that movie, because it sounded like he was reading off of a book report like this, and I'm just like.
So what you were saying is, as that was going on, you was like, "Fuck them kids."
Michael Jordan energy. Fuck them kids. Straight up Michael Jordan energy. Exactly.
Yep, pretty much.
And my thing with child actors, you really take a risk as far as like working with child actors, because like a lot of times you see child actors aren't very good. Like Raising Dion, that kid is. A lot of times you get times where child actors just aren't very good, and I think Anand, they could have used somebody else. So they could have got somebody else for that role. I just think his involvement in the movie it was a big turnoff for me.
I liked his relationship with The Rock. I liked it.
Okay.
The Smasher was the only one that was irritating to me. That was it.
The one thing I will say about because the visual effects I thought were absolutely stunning. I thought those were some of the best visual effects I've seen in a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have given Cyclone where she had a lot of her slow-mo. I wish they would have given her some more sped up movement so you can see the velocity of her spins and see how powerful she is. Because I think her spinning in slow motion shows her an elegance and how glamorous and how elegant she is, and how graceful she is as far as spinning. But it doesn't necessarily show the power that she has. So I think if they would have showed some of that in real time, that would have been really, really cool.
So Kyle, let me ask you, because I don't know. I the only thing I know about her, I learned from this movie. How new of a character is she, and just how powerful is she really?
So I know she's she's like a second generation JSA member, had pretty much nanotechnology injected into her to give her that kind of power. I think being able to spin at that kind of top speed is almost like the Flash running at top speed, as far as like in a tornado, so to speak. So again, being able to show something like that, I think that would have been really cool, just to show that kind of velocity, that kind of power. Because like she's not just a pretty face. She's not just elegant. She's powerful as well. Like I think that would have been really cool. It would have been really, really cool. So, because in my opinion, everybody else got that view. Like you saw Adam Smasher grow and pretty much walk around and be powerful. You saw Dr. Fate really do his thing. You saw Hawkman really be powerful in that movie. I think we would have benefited more. We wouldn't have lost anything. We would have benefited more from seeing Cyclone, like just those scenes sped up a little bit more. So but all in all, like I said, if I were to give that movie a rating, I would probably come away like a 6.5 out of 10. Wasn't even the best DC movie this year, because The Batman, in my opinion, was a better movie. Oh The Batman was a better movie. Thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah, see, Kyle, I was with you. There's sometimes I'm with you, and there's sometimes I'm against you. I couldn't even watch The Batman. I stopped after I think he was talking with what's her face?
Selena Kyle. Cat girl.
What's her name's daughter or whoever?
Barbara.
No, the Catwoman. I just Kravitz chick.
Oh yeah, Zoe. Okay.
I couldn't even see her in her when she turned into Catwoman. I think it's when they started fighting, and then he saved her, and then it was at his room, and they were talking. I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't. I'm like, you're solemn. I can't deal with you right now. I don't like you.
I just want to point out that, we got a Marvel fandom group and we have the DC fandom group. And, DC is kind of underdogging it right now. They have been for the last 20 years, y'all Marvel fans, y'all just never agree with anything, and DC, blah, blah, blah. And so here we are, a bunch of people who be bashing DC all the time. And we come on here and say Black Adam was a good movie. And the DC guy's like, nah. No. That's why nobody hang with y'all.
We want the best. We want the best for
y'all. Ain't never had
how right? How can you expect the best at this point?
Because this is the thing. DC pulls out gems like, and you guys may not agree. They pull out gems like the Joker. Joker was a great film in my opinion. They pull out great films. They pull out great films like The Batman. And even though you guys may not like that Batman, I think that Batman is different than any Batman we've gotten.
Exactly. This is why DC fans get what they get. Yes, right there.
Now, Kyle, let me interject. I'm glad you said that the way you said it. You said films. The biggest problem that I see with DC movies is Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers is, we're this art house production and we produce masterpieces and this and that. So they want to take these comic book movies and turn them into award-winning films. Whereas you go look at Marvel, Marvel is just making great Saturday afternoon movies to go watch.
That still got Oscar nominated. Hello, Black Panther.
But did they win though?
Did they win though? What DC movie was nominated?
Right.
Joker nominated. It won.
Black Panther won. What are you talking about? There's Black Panther
for costume design.
That's still a win.
It's still a win.
Suicide Squad won for costume design.
It's
The
still a
first
win.
Suicide Squad won for Suicide
We're not taking that away from them. It's
No.
still a win.
Again, DC's biggest problem is Warner Brothers. The only thing Disney says to Marvel is make us a lot of
Make us
money.
some money.
Don't
Okay.
besmirch the Disney name.
Right.
They don't come
Okay.
in and try to exert any control. Whereas again, Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers has owned DC for how long now? And the
Almost
last
50 years.
the last great DC movie we got was, in my opinion, 1989 Batman.
Wow.
No, I'm gonna give you. I'm
Great.
yes.
Nah.
This comment. This.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Again, that goes back into that whole thing about Warner
but
Brothers wanting these art house films.
Okay.
Disney and Marvel have said, you know what, we're just going to have fun.
Okay.
We may or may not get some awards along the way, but we're going to have fun. We're going to make a lot of money, and we're going to keep having fun.
Okay.
I don't see that with DC.
So Disney was smart because they gave Marvel their own studio.
Marvel had their own studio
Marvel
before
had their own studio
DC.
before.
But that's the thing. Disney could have brought when they bought out Marvel, they could have gave like you're under a Disney banner, just like Warner Brothers said to DC, you're under Warner Brothers banner.
I think
They were-
Disney knew better than to do that, though, because they
Right.
looked at what Marvel had already done and said, we're not going to mess with the formula you have because it
Right.
works.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
no nudity and no cussing, and we good.
Right.
Right.
But you can still
So-
do Deadpool. You know what? That's actually another point. Is Deadpool was a what do you call it? Like what's the guy's name? The guy that's playing Deadpool.
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds had to take it to the internet to get that made because they had shelved that project, and he ended up having a lot more to do with it than you would have thought, and it turned out to be an amazing movie, similar
but we
to
know
Black
Fox is
Adam.
stupid.
Say what?
You know,
Similar
Fox
to
is
Black
stupid
Adam.
from day one.
I mean, it's Deadpool. Deadpool ain't had to make sense because Deadpool as a character doesn't make sense.
So
But that goes into when fans make the movies.
So I will see your point to Disney, being more hands off with Marvel, like, you know what, do your own thing, them having their own studio. So look at the recent move, the recent change that was made with DC. DC now having their own studios, and James Gunn being the head of that studio, the studio head of that.
Well, there are co-heads of
They're
that
co-heads,
studio.
yeah, they're co-heads.
And when was the last time there was a successful co-CEO pair?
I don't know.
But we
know.
still got James Gunn.
You still
We
got
got-
James Gunn though.
We
Okay.
got
We got a fan. We got a
It is-
comic book
we
fan.
got a fan, and he's the one that's in charge of the movie.
Mark my words, on November the 3rd, 9:04 p.m., 2022, I said it, this co-CEO will be a failure.
Okay, we'll remember that. We'll remember that.
All
We
of
got it
them,
on
like,
tape.
when James Gunn and the other dude butt heads over creative differences and one of them leaves, because it will inevitably happen. Look, James Gunn has the history of 2 Guardians films under his belt from Marvel. He's going to bring that knowledge and know-how what worked at Marvel over to DC. He already did it with the Suicide Squad and
Mhm.
Peacemaker. So he has an idea of what will work.
Yep.
As head of DC films going forward, if they ever get a chance to make any more movies, because Warner Brother executives always got to be in the room and be like, do this because my kid loved when so and so did that thing when he was 8.
And you know what? That's a miss because if you really understand capitalism, what's your target market? Your target market is people who are going to spend evening money to see this movie more than once, and it's not going to be the kids. And the kids, half of them, not going to see it anyway. You really want to appeal to that 29 to 51 demo who are looking for something different. They're looking for entertainment. They're looking for escapism. Some of them want canon. Some of them don't care, never read the stuff and everything. And so I think Marvel got really good at recognizing who was going to spend money to see that movie more than once. And they catered to that audience versus the relatively smaller, I read all the comic books audience, or the kids who just want to see bright colors and loud explosions, if that. And they found the people that were going to turn a profit, and they appealed to them, and they continue to.
And I think that's what the Rock did with this movie. He figured out that exact thing and made this a success. Like, I don't know how much money this movie has made, but I would bet they have made back all their initial investments, if not more by now.
I think 500 million worldwide.
See, there you go.
And it's holiday time, and it's still going to be out there.
Yep.
And
They
the
still
one
gonna
thing,
make money.
But my thing is holiday time. But next week we got Black Panther too, so it's definitely gonna drop compared.
Oh,
to
of course it's going to drop.
And you
But
got Avatar:
Black-
Way of the Water.
Black Panther is a
don't care about
movement. I
They
mean, you
definitely
can't.
is.
You
Yeah,
just
that's the
can't compare
movement.
Black Panther and Black, because again, they're both great and wonderful characters. But
They're both black.
what we've all been waiting for before the first Black Panther, and then what we got and we loved it. As much as we all enjoyed Black Adam, we're not going to sit up here and say that we enjoy Black Adam the same way we did
Oh,
Black
no.
Panther.
Bro,
no.
we got plans. I got a whole outfit.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, where's
Yeah.
my?
I'm still looking for an outfit. 'Cause remember,
I'm
only gotta
taking
know,
this. I'm taking this to the deal.
That's hot. Where did you
Is
get
that
that?
domestic? Is that domestic or
I got
Or
this.
worldwide?
That must be domestic. I just saw 250 million a second ago when I looked it up.
I'm doing my beating.
Word.
nice?
Finishing
I
up
got
my
this at
beating.
Dragon Con in Atlanta.
Very nice.
Okay.
Lounge Fly.
So is anybody wearing all white?
No,
The first time I
Find
see
over
it,
the weekend, maybe.
the first time I see it, I am.
To honor
I
T'Challa.
got my ice cream suit ready to go.
no, because I got purple for a royal. I was doing Moana.
Mhm.
I was doing his mother, just going as a royal.
Ramonda.
Ramonda. I was just going as a royal.
Okay.
250
The-
million. Yeah,
The
they've
royal
made their
queen.
money.
Just going as that. And then the second time I go is in my Dora Milaje.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Very
Awesome.
nice. Very, very nice.
Now, can I ask a slightly nerdy question, Simone?
Mhm.
Are you going as a Michaela Cole Dora, or are you
Aura.
going?
Oye. When I
Okoye.
cosplay, I'm
Okay.
Oye.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Ayo.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So kind
Yeah,
of
back
all
to-
got
back to Black Adam.
Back to Black Adam. We kind of all got
Like, what were we
into
talking about?
as far as our ratings of the movie. Furious, I know you had touched on a couple of things that you didn't necessarily like about the movie as far as like canon. Go ahead and delve into what you didn't.
So a couple of things I didn't care for.
Mhm.
When I didn't like the fact that Amanda Waller is
Mhm.
sending in the JSA to investigate anything, because
Mhm.
what I know of Amanda Waller and what I've seen, she doesn't instruct anybody except for Task Force X, who is of her own creation.
Right.
But the Justice Society, none of those people have anything to do with Amanda Waller. The other thing that it bothered me was the post-credit scene where Amanda Waller is talking to Black Adam through a drone, and they're having their back and forth. He says, "There's no man on this planet who can stop me." She makes the comment about calling in favors from off-world. He destroys the drone, and in comes Superman. I just don't see that realistically happening. I don't see Superman answering to Amanda Waller. To me, if anything, the role of Amanda Waller would have been better served with somebody like Mr. Terrific, or maybe the Martian Manhunter, somebody that we have seen man the Watchtower and organize teams and send them out on missions. To me, that would have been a better fit.
Yeah.
She's a manipulator.
Yeah, exactly that.
She's a manipulator, and she can lie to what's the word I want to use? You know how Superman, I'm all for justice
Gullible
and all
Boy
of it.
Scout, yeah.
So, her manipulation, we have this person who's going to destroy the earth, and we need your help. As a human, this is your planet now. You know what I'm saying? She'll turn it around so that she's making him feel bad that he has to come and help.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, Furious, you said Superman doesn't answer to, or she can't control the JSA, or Waller can't control the JSA or Superman. Nobody says she did. You never actually see her tell them to do anything. She provided information and they acted on it.
True.
About this threat from ancient Egypt, ancient Marrakesh or whatever. And then Qatar, I forget the name of the country. But anyway, when you see Superman, if we're going to let Batman versus Superman be canon, then maybe Superman's resurrected ass has learned from the last time he had to go fight somebody, because all he says is we need to talk, right?
True.
He didn't say he was coming in to fight. He didn't say he was
True.
on her behalf. Maybe she told him something, and Superman's like, yeah, I'm gonna go check this out.
And in the comics,
Yeah.
he did get his behind kicked.
Yeah. Now the other thing though that gets me is with it's canon for better or worse.
I know.
Oh, you're
I know
right.
it is.
You're right. You're right.
The other thing though was, this is the thing James and I were going back and forth, was how disappointed we were in Dr. Fate, because it looked like Dr. Fate struggled to match magic with Black Adam, when we know Dr. Fate is an actual Lord of Order.
Right.
His magic and again, I'm not the biggest DC guy, but what I know of DC and Dr. Fate, he should have easily
Wiped the floor. Wiped the floor with him.
But as James reminded me, the other thing that they kind of threw in the movie, but it was a throwaway, was when Cyclone told Atom Smasher, don't touch the helmet, because when he has the helmet on, he's possessed.
How many times did he take the helmet off?
I lost count
Oh
after
my God.
because the third time he took it off, I got pissed.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's in charge here, Naboo or
Naboo?
Which
Naboo?
again,
Because they never said his name in the whole movie.
Right.
So, but again, and that's one of those things where I say, like, to me, the things I dislike are like comic book nerds will pick up on these things, not the general audience.
Right.
Black Adams as
people.
He was the people's champion in the movie.
He was.
Yes, he was.
But
that's what
this
drew
is zombie
people in. You had nerds going to see the movie, and you also had people who liked The Rock, who never saw or knew Black Adam. They was just like, I'm just going to go see The Rock.
Yeah. Two more things, and then I'm done. One is, this version of Hawkman, is he from Thanagar? Some of the backstory that we know of Hawkman, it just wasn't there. Again, is he actually from Thanagar? Were the wings part of his body, or are they just part of his suit? What is this nth metal? I mean, we know what nth metal is, but what is this nth metal that they mentioned in the movie? It's just all these little things that
we got no backstory on any of them.
Yeah,
So,
which is the DC problem.
Well,
no.
We got a little bit of backstory on Atom Smasher, because he's the second generation, because his uncle Henry Winkler was the original Atom Smasher, and that's about all we got.
And we got a little bit of backstory on Cyclone and how her powers came to be.
Mad scientist with the nanoprobes in her,
right. Yeah. Which I would like. Dr. Ivo is probably one of my favorite villains as far as DC, so I really appreciated that.
Did they even say Dr. Ivo, or did she just say a mad scientist?
I would have.
We know from the comic book it was Ivo, but still.
Wait, do we know that it's Ivo, or could it be T. Morrow?
It could be T. Morrow.
Yeah.
Do we actually know?
Right.
We don't, because they never said which scientist. She just said mad scientist.
Yeah. So again, my dissent of this movie are just things that comic book nerds will pick up on.
So, to be fair, they did, and this is one of my problems. Like, I agree, they should have given Hawkman more of a visual backstory, because they did have a 0-issue comic that touched on Hawkman's origin in this DC universe, like a DC the movie universe. So they had a comic that touched on his backstory, which was pretty. That. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
So was it reincarnation or from Thanagar?
It is Thanagar, but reincarnation. He's lived a number of very long time. Yeah, very long time. So yeah. The one thing, so the Dr. Fate thing really annoyed me.
Me
so
too.
I'm just, oh my goodness. I'm just like, I get it. Pierce Brosnan is Dr. Fate, but does he have to keep taking his helmet off?
Well, and this is what I was discussing with Furious, is that because it's Pierce Brosnan and the way we have superhero films now, the characters who wear masks, and this probably goes back to even with as early as Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, because of the face of the actor that you're making money off, they have to be as visible as much as possible. So yeah, it's Pierce Brosnan as Fate, but if it was truly going to be Fate, we would have never seen Pierce Brosnan's face. Now this caters to the general audience who knows nothing going in.
Right.
They like Pierce Brosnan, so they want to see Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
It doesn't help if Pierce Brosnan, like all of his screen time is under a helmet.
Because otherwise you don't need Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, right.
Absolutely.
Anybody. And I understand that, but at the same time,
come on, man,
find your balance, because that watered down version of Fate for me, to me, this is a watered down version of Fate, watered down pretty much to make him a challenge, but not really a threat to Black Adam.
Right.
And that all coincided together. So the fact that we had no real possession of him, of the helmet, there was no mention of Naboo or the Lords of Order. His magic was so seemed more just tamed overall as far as his use of magic throughout the film, because he should have been a legitimate threat to Black Adam. Like,
maybe he was tired. I mean,
he was old.
Look, understand, Kid Nelson in some versions of different mediums, whether it's comics or animation, Kent Nelson lives well to be like in his 120s because of the magic of the helmet and constantly putting it on. But now in his later years, he does convince Naboo, let me go, let me have a life a little bit. I want to hang out with my Enza and stuff. But even at that advanced age, he is still like, Black Adam's not really a threat to Dr. Fate,
right,
in any way, shape, or form. So I get they chose the character for name and they wanted, the star power of Pierce Brosnan to draw in butts and seats. I get all that.
Okay. So other fantastical hypothesis. Maybe he wasn't using his full power against Black Adam because he didn't want to actually hurt him. He just wanted to contain him, and he just used just enough to be like, all right, you're in my little cage here, and I'm out. Because he ended up fighting a whole demon later, so there was more power to be had. Maybe he was just throttling back,
So when Naboo has control of you, what you want don't matter. And
maybe Naboo
wanted order. Right. Order is the only thing that matters to Naboo, and maintaining that order. And that's it. And that's it.
Okay.
But again, remember, one of the things they said in this movie was that helmet's from another planet. So I would argue Naboo is non-existent in this version of the DC universe.
Right. Okay. So I would say another thing, one of the things that really bothers me. So my favorite iteration of Black Adam is the most recent one we got, Jeff Johns' story. In that story, you have a boy who is a slave of Kahndaq and his uncle, who pretty much takes care of him. Uncle's sick. The boy is whisked away to the Rock Fraternity. He's given the power of Shazam to be a protector of Kahndaq, but his uncle's dying, so he's just like, can I save my uncle? And they're like, yes, give your uncle the power of Shazam. Gives him the power. Him and his uncle both have dueling views as far as how the city of Kahndaq should be saved. The boy thinks we can work with the Tyrant King, we can work with the oppressors to get things done for the people of Kahndaq.
Not the uncle.
The uncle, on the other hand, is like, no,
scorched earth.
Scorched earth. And so what he does is he hugs the little boy and calls out Shazam and kills the little boy, becoming Black Adam.
So that's dark as hell, and don't nobody
Period. No.
I want to see it.
Thank you. So
that story works better, I would think, as an animated feature.
Yes.
Okay. I'll say this.
Most of their movies are better as animated features.
Dark as hell. But what it does is it gives your anti-hero some place to redeem himself from. Like, granted, he in the movie.
Why you gotta redeem yourself from child?
Because he's an anti. My thing is he has to, like, in my opinion, I think it would have worked for a better story, because in this movie they always were saying, like, he's a villain, he's a bad guy. That's all the JSA was. That's all Hawkman was saying. He's a bad guy. I'm like, what has he done that's like really villainous this entire movie?
So I hear what you're saying about that, but I don't think he had to murder his own nephew, or in this case, it would have been his own child, in order to be a bad guy. I think it's a great commentary on. I love the play that they put in there around where was this Justice League when we were being oppressed all these years. Now y'all want to show up because y'all heard we actually like this dude. They're cheering Black Adam and they're booing Hawkman. Because don't come in here with your oppressive American bullshit. We've been suffering all these years. This dude is finally helping us by actually beat it. And I thought that was a great, actual, really realistic social commentary. But I think the storyline that I got that he did it out of revenge. That's what he had to redeem himself from, was he got this power from his son to save his life in that moment. And then when his son got killed, he just went on a revenge spree. He didn't actually try to save the city. He just wanted revenge. And that the city ended up getting saved and whatever. And so, and it explained all the melancholy that you saw earlier on in the movie. Like, he's like, I'm not a hero. He never said he was a hero, but he also is not a bad guy. And so I don't think you have to have done something villainous to be an anti-hero. I think he might be more of a reluctant hero, you know?
Okay, I can see that.
Which is why they believed him. He believed it in him at the end and set him free to come and this is what you're supposed to do. You are a hero.
Okay, I can see that.
But don't mess with me. I'm gonna be over here in my country, sitting on the throne. Don't be sending your little drones in here. Superman, what you want? What you want, bro? When nobody even talking to you. Like, that's how the movie.
So I did have one more thing that like kind of irked me, and it's very, very, very small. At the beginning of the movie, did anyone notice, like, were they talking in like an ancient language? Like, they weren't speaking English anywhere near the beginning of the movie, as far as the boy's narration, where the Rock and his son were back in time.
That flashback scene, yes,
right.
They weren't speaking English. Yeah, when
the Rock wakes up, he speaks perfect English, not broken English, but perfect English. How?
Magic. Magic.
Magic.
So now I forget which wizards give him his power, but doesn't
the wisdom of Solomon,
aka Billy Batson, have the wisdom of Solomon?
He does.
Black Adam has the wisdom of somebody, but
Solomon, it's the same powers.
Maybe that's how he managed to speak English. The wisdom of Solomon.
There's a series of books that I read. When he woke up, he spoke in his language. Thank you.
He did. No, he did. But then, how did he learn English? So, how did he they show any sequences as far as him learning English?
Remember that scene when he picked up that one dude and electrocuted him and killed him? Mm-hmm. Maybe he absorbed some kind of knowledge when he did that. I don't know. No, I mean, he could have.
The way he
burned the English out of him and
he could easily heard enough of people screaming to figure out what English was.
Yeah. Again, personally, that's one of those things I'm not going to be a big stickler on, because we're sitting here talking about a movie where six wizards gave this dude all these magical powers, and we're tripping on the fact that he speaks English.
Right. So there's a series of books that I read. They're romance novels, so I'm not even gonna tell you what they are. But in it, you have beings that sleep for thousands of years, and when they wake up, it takes them like a day to adjust to the current modern language, because it's just part of their ability to be able to recognize language and adapt to it. So I'm gonna say that Black Adam had that same ability.
Or like in the most recent Doctor Who, people are complaining at the regeneration that the clothes regenerated. I'm like, this is a show about a person who can travel through time and regenerate their body when mortally wounded, and you're complaining about the clothes regenerating?
The clothes don't regenerate. They stay in whatever clothes they have.
The clothes have regenerated in other classic Doctor Who's as well. That has happened before.
I mean, it's like freaking 75 years of Doctor Who. Why wouldn't the clothes regenerate?
I'm just saying that just seems like a small thing to take issue with.
True. Yeah. That's the kind of thing that will get you crossed off the list of the people that I go to the movies with. That's 9 times out of 10 I buy one ticket and I go to the movie by myself, because I'm not trying to be sitting next to somebody who is questioning the laws of physics while I am enjoying all of this, fantastical stuff that's going on around.
Yep.
Oh man, no, I get it.
And see, that's why I jump out of Kyle's square into your square, Teresa, because every time I'm with Kyle, he'll say something that's crazy, and I'm like, okay, so now I'm with Teresa. Well,
Kyle, you do it yourself. You get what you deserve.
I don't like silly. I don't like
you get what you deserve, Kyle. You should have taken this W, Kyle, and not complained about it.
Right. A win is a win, Kyle, but you want to complain about it.
You're the
bringing up nonsense like Batman versus Superman. Like,
when are you ever going to have this many Marvel fans together again and say we really enjoyed a DC movie?
You know what? I imagine Very
No.
soon. Actually.
No.
Blue Beetle next year. I think it's gonna be pretty good.
Wait,
Yeah, you keep thinking that.
who's doing Blue Beetle? Is the Rock's company doing Blue Beetle, or is Warner
No.
Brothers doing Blue Beetle?
No, DC Studios is doing Blue Beetle.
Refer back to the earlier comment. Why would
Right.
you be optimistic going into a DC movie?
Right.
Again, Furious. No, Furious.
Shit.
We'll remember this conversation. We will remember this
Oh, we
conversation.
will. All of us will.
Because
Yep.
James Gunn's contract is a 4-year contract.
And?
We'll see where we're at.
And we have never had a successful pair of co-CEOs in any
what?
industry.
Okay.
Kyle, I don't know you,
What's
but
up?
I feel like you just want to be wrong. Like whatever you just gonna be like, no, it's not. Like the sky is a beautiful color blue. Actually, if you look at it in the right angle, it's brown. And and I can tell you why it's brown. And brown guys have been ruling forever. Brown's gonna make a comeback. Like I don't.
Kyle, look, I applaud your endless enthusiasm and hope, because Superman does represent hope.
Man,
Good
still
luck
didn't
with that
though.
going forward.
Okay.
I do want to say this.
Yes.
Remember a comment where The Rock said that Black Adam is going to be the foundation upon which the new DC movie universe is built around?
Yup.
Based on this movie, I can honestly see why he said that, because currently Black Adam is the most powerful being on Earth who poses a threat. I could see the Justice League being brought together in a series of films to combat Black Adam as their Thanos from Marvel.
And they fail miserably.
So
I don't know that's what they're going to do, but
Yeah.
I could see how those wheels would roll.
So going back to your comment as far as Amanda Waller moving, being very manipulative, moving pieces like a chess on a chessboard.
Yep.
There's a very good story, her involving Checkmate, that I think she would end up being the big bad as far as having the Suicide Squad versus a number of different people in the Justice League. And I think that would be a really good one.
I would actually watch
but the Suicide Squad is a bunch of C and D list villains who no one really gives a crap about.
But it's a lot of them though.
It's a lot of them.
But they pose no threat to any single member of the Justice League, really. I mean, they're mostly jokes and one-offs. I mean, Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn are like your biggest names in the group. What threat do they pose to a Wonder Woman or a Flash, a Green Lantern? Like on
Hell,
their own?
what threat do they pose to a Batman?
So
none.
I will see that and raise you the fact that Amanda Waller works for the government. One of the most powerful beings in the DC universe that is also part of the government is Captain Adam,
who is loyal to the Justice League,
who's also loyal to the government.
And didn't Superman kick his ass already?
No, he definitely did. He definitely did.
Yes.
But it was a
Yes,
fight.
he did.
It was a fight. It was.
I mean, it was a
And,
fight.
and it's going to be a fight when the Black Adam kicks Superman's behind.
Black Adam is going to whoop that. I mean,
Black
he did it in
Adam
the comic book.
Black
he
Adam
whooped
will
his
beat
behind.
the ever living snot
Black
out of
Adam
Superman. We
doesn't
know
beat
this because
Superman,
Superman
I'm
can't
gonna
handle
call
magic.
That's the other thing that I wonder is, so far we have had no mention of magic being a weakness of Superman.
Superman, right?
We all know
That's
that from the
definitely it.
comics and the cartoons, but it hasn't come up in the movies yet. And I just wonder, is that one of the things that's going to get overlooked as DC is putting the rest of these movies together?
I wonder about is it what was the blue stone that they had that he was that Black Adam?
Ethereum.
Eternium?
Eternium. I'm sorry, not Ethereum. Eternium.
Yeah,
Eternium.
I feel like it's going to be a kryptonite Eternium battle. Like somebody in the middle with no power. Batman is probably going to have guns to take down everybody.
I'm trying to think. Question. Diana's lasso. Is that in? I'm trying to think. Yeah, the lasso of truth. I think in the not in the Zack Snyder cut, but in the Joss Whedon cut, didn't she throw that lasso around Superman? I'm trying to remember if he was even vulnerable to anything like that.
He grabbed it. Yeah, he grabbed it.
Okay.
And
is that? I'm trying to think. Was that imbued? Did they mention that if that was imbued with any kind of magic?
They
it
didn't,
is magical, but it didn't do nothing to him.
Her entire armor set is magic. It was made by Hephaestus.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but I mean, again, it's not something they have established in the movies. Like, hey, this armor set is magical. It's one of those common sense things that you should know from way back.
And the only mention of
she's
magic,
the true demigod compared to him, who's only there because of our yellow sun. And if that shit turns red, you lose your power.
Right.
She still has her power.
He died.
Yeah.
Technically, he died because he never grew up under a red sun. So,
yeah.
Which is dumb.
So,
but I want to talk about my Marvel DC crossover movie that I want to make. I want to see Falcon versus Hawkman and Ant-Man versus Atom Smasher.
Oh, that's going to be an instant win for Hawkman, because Falcon just doesn't have the he's not sturdy enough to take a punch from Hawkman.
Oh, I don't want to see like the fight. I want to see the banter and all the all back and forth. Matter of fact, me and Dana's in there somewhere. We were talking about this after we left the movie about Ant-Man and Atom Smasher both being like too nice to fight in the middle of the city and being like, you want to take us to the desert? Let's go to the desert. And and then they'd end up like fighting in the desert for a little while, and like and you wouldn't see them again until the movie was over. And when the movie was over, you go out there and they're like back at the restaurant eating shawarma in New York together. Like, what? Oh, we're supposed to be fighting? You know,
like, how about some Falcon versus Hawkman mud wrestling? I'm down for that.
We got something close to that in Black Mirror. I'm good on that. We got something close to that in Black Mirror. I'm good on that.
Not that kind of mud wrestling.
So before I mentioned that Hawkman actually got a what is it, like a pretty much Black Adam #1. They talked about Hawkman's origin in this comic. So if you want to learn more about him as far as in the DC universe, as far as the movie universe, that's a great comic book to go.
So the feathers are real?
The feathers are part of an armor. He's part of the Thanagarian police force. And that's where that's like their uniform.
So they're not physically part of him.
But some versions, the Thanagarians actually do grow wings themselves.
Yeah.
They had wings in the cartoon.
Yeah.
So Kyle, in that comic you just showed us, are the wings grown or they're part of his uniform?
They're part of the nth metal uniform.
Okay.
So they're not his. Got it.
Boo.
I mean, technically he's wearing them, so they're his, but you know what I mean.
I'm just saying
his wings are a weave.
I mean, she paid for it. It's hers.
Exactly.
There was that one scene in the movie when he was standing there holding Hawkman by both of the wings. I was just like, come on, rip them off.
I did want to rip them off.
Rip it.
I feel bad about that, but I did.
I wanted to see him get ripped off because but again, I know that they're trying to make this a family-friendly kind of thing, so I knew it wasn't going to happen. But in my mind, I'm just like, rip them off. Just come on, rip them off.
So I do want to pose this question, because at one point, some idiot executive from Warner Brothers a while back, after the Shazam film came out, and we still were waiting on this movie to release, we got all excited, like, okay, Shazam 2, Black Adam shows up. And this idiot exec from Warner Brothers comes out and says, these two characters will never meet on screen. Do we think that changes now?
So The Rock actually pretty much voices disdain for Shazam.
Well, wait. So I saw a headline about that. Is that a rumor, or do they actually have a quote from The Rock?
So there's a number of reputable sources that state that The Rock has a disdain for the Shazam.
So we don't have an actual quote from The Rock saying that.
Yeah, not actual quote from The Rock, but do you think The Rock will actually come out and say something like that, though?
I think The Rock would actually come out and say that, because he doesn't give two shits if people don't. I think he would.
He doesn't give two shits if people don't like him?
About it, again, the fact that The Rock said, I am going to rebuild the DC universe around this character, I wholeheartedly believe The Rock would come out and tell you if he didn't like Shazam. I really do. Because at the end of the day, I don't think The Rock cares if the execs at Warner Brothers like or disapprove of the things that he says, because the fans are going to back him up.
But I forgot all about the Shazam movie when I was ranking stuff, which tells you where it ranks. But I think
the shade.
I'm all shady. I think that the Shazam movie was well received. Like I don't remember it being bashed a whole lot when it came out, which is a win for Warner Brothers and for DC movies in general. And so I think when you're talking about loot, he'd be crazy to come out and say I don't like any of this with actual words. You can say he has disdain for whatever. That's all conjecture. But if there's a possibility of doing a Shazam, Black Adam crossover, and it gets some, build up on the internet or whatnot, I can see them doing it.
Yeah,
I would hope.
I mean,
he would lead it.
I expected that, to be honest, because you had Black Adam.
He's the arch nemesis.
Yeah.
From the group. So at the end, you're like, oh, so who's this other seat? Okay, so we know then here comes Black Adam, and then you've got Black Adam fighting Superman, and I expected Shazam 2 to be pulled in to that.
Right.
But Shazam 2 is something completely different.
Really different, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally completely different.
But the Wizard is in all 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
No, he definitely is.
He's in all those movies.
Definitely is. So yeah, it's one of these things where it's just like,
hey,
I think
Jaume and Hansa, they ain't got no more Africans that they can get.
Let that man get his money. Let him get his money. I'm not mad at him.
There are plenty, but he is the best of them. He is the best of them. He is the best of them.
Is he better than Yaya?
No.
Yaya Abdul-Mateen.
Conversation.
Yaya Abdul-Mateen is, man, that dude's awesome. As first of all, I really loved him as Dr. Manhattan.
Oh,
Dr. Manhattan.
I did
loved him as Of course you did, Joy. But no, love this character as Dr. Manhattan because he came across as like very above as far as humanity, but also down to earth as far as talking to Regina King's character. Like I really love that aspect of him.
He was also really good in Candyman.
Yes, he was.
Candyman was a very good remake.
Yes, he was.
Take your word for it. Haven't seen it yet.
What?
James, why haven't you seen Candyman yet?
Yeah, so mirrors and scary stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm jumping into James's square now. I haven't even.
So I want you to know I sleep with a katana by my bed for good reason.
Oh, wow.
In a fight or flight situation, I'm fighting because you got to kill me. You scare me, ain't gonna do nothing. You're gonna have to actually. I'm throwing hands. They rated E for everything. Not everybody, everything.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it either. And I used to be a big horror movie person when I was younger and full of whatever, but now that I'm old, I can't take what I used to be able to take as far as scary stuff. And the original Candyman scared the crap out of me, so I can't do it right now at this age.
I think this Candyman, it was a much better story in my opinion.
Yeah,
I thought it was much better than the first one.
Yes,
I really loved him. I literally loved him as Black Manta and Aquaman.
Yeah,
Wave Game was mad strong. So yeah, I love him, and I love that he's Wonder Man now. So yeah, I absolutely love that.
Oh yeah, you missed that announcement this week?
Yeah, I didn't hear.
Probably like after we talked, like Tuesday, Monday, whatever. But like the very next day, press release, he's been cast as Wonder Man
earlier in the week.
Ooh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love that.
I'm gonna tell you, I love the first time I saw him was in this Netflix series called The Get Down.
Love him to
Get Down. Yes.
And I fell in love with him then, and I've loved everything he's done since.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, loved him in The Get Down. It's a shame they canceled that show.
I know, it was good.
Netflix is stupid. But yeah,
so him as Black Manta. Does that mean we might actually get? So if they're building everything around Black Adam, does that potentially mean we could see a return of Black Manta in the crap? What is the opposite of the Justice League?
Legion of Doom.
The Injustice League.
Or the Injustice League.
No. Well, in this instance, I'm thinking Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom, yeah. Legion of Doom, yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, I know
we had a Slade tease, which is a waste.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As a post-credit scene, then you bring in Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. That was kind of a waste.
Yeah.
Wait,
okay.
Which movie had Slade?
That was it was the director's
second-
cut.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Justice League. The
Justice League.
Oh, that's right.
Justice
On
League,
the, on the boat.
the
On
Joss
the boat.
Whedon movie. Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
boat. Yeah. Okay. On the
Yeah.
boat.
I fell
Gotcha.
asleep on that twice.
Well, no, you fell asleep on the Snyder cut.
The Snyder cut was so much better.
It really
I fell
was.
asleep on it.
Yeah, but that
it
was
was 4 hours
During
long,
the
and you
fight
needed to
scene.
make sure you had caffeine in your system to be awake for 4 hours.
that movie was wow.
I
Okay,
sat through all
so
Lord of the Rings. 9.5 hours. Didn't fall asleep at once.
if you can binge watch a show, why can't you watch a 4-hour movie?
Because it was boring.
I watched it. I was surprised. I was proud of myself. I made it through the whole thing, one sitting. Of course, I was, in my house and on my comfy couch with my feet up, with, my favorite snacks, whatever it was. But I was proud of myself. I made it through it, and I enjoyed it far more than I did the other cut.
I thoroughly enjoyed the extra bit of info that we got from that movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was
Because
darker.
knowing-
And I like that.
I've always been a big fan of the Martian Manhunter,
Yeah.
and knowing that the Martian Manhunter has been on Earth all this time,
Right.
I really want to see them bring him into something else.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I
Justice
like.
Cyborg.
Yeah, I loved that they did Justice for Cyborg.
Yeah.
Because I felt that he was the heart of that movie, and I felt that the fact that they cut him out initially of the Joss Whedon cut, I was
Well,
like,
it's Joss Whedon, so he can't be trusted to do anything with
Right.
minorities or women.
right.
Yes.
So he was definitely the heart of that movie, the soul of that movie. I love Cyborg in that movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, really did.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Justice League they put together
Right.
to take down, Black Adam.
Or Amanda Waller. I'm telling you.
Amanda
Oh,
Waller is
man.
legit. I mean, I'm with that. I would like.
I
to
mean,
see her.
she's legit. I don't see her as being the big bad that gets taken down.
All
I
I'm
could
saying
put-
is every
I could-
DC movie that she's been in has been watchable, if not in full on enjoyable.
And she was incredible in The Woman King.
Yes.
Yeah.
God,
Viola
yes.
Davis, yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. She's got the gravitas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Viola Davis is a beast on the
Yeah.
screen. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I will say that Amanda Waller is probably my favorite DC. I won't call her a villain. She's my favorite DC antagonist, if you will,
Mhm.
because of how smart she is. Now,
Yeah.
I understand you have this woman who has, again, a bunch of one-off nobodies to pretty much call upon whenever she wants to do some Black Ops mission, because we ain't risking our soldiers on some mission that 80% of them going to die on. Let's send these nobodies over there who no one's really going to miss. Get this job done, put bombs in their head. You get time off your life sentence if you come back alive. But the fact that she runs this group is like a Black Ops unit of the government, which gives everybody she reports to plausible deniability. On top of the fact that she knows the identities of every single member of the Justice League.
Mhm.
How
And
many
their
members of the
weaknesses.
Justice League identities are secret, though? Batman.
All of them. All the Justice League
I
identities
mean,
are
except
secret.
for Hawk Girl, all of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, Hawk, the Thanagarians.
She
of
got
course.
wings.
I mean, but everybody knows who Wonder Woman is. Her identity isn't a secret.
Her identity technically is secret. Her and Diana Prince, come on now. That's not really. Well, it depends on what you're reading. It depends on there's some instances
Right.
where her identity is secret. So
We'll put her in the debatable category.
right. But for the
But-
most part, I mean, their identities
Flash.
are secret.
Yeah, Barry Allen. Marvel West,
Superman, Batman. Who else is out there?
yeah.
Green Lantern is not a secret, is he?
Martian Manhunter.
Well, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern is, but John Stewart and the rest of them not so much.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah,
They don't really care.
well,
But we
okay,
like John
okay,
Stewart though, right? That's the one we
Yeah.
like. Okay.
Yeah, John
All right,
Stewart
well,
is
fine.
the only one that matters.
So
Well,
we'll say
he's the main one that matters.
yeah. So all right, so we'll say there's a mishmash of secret
Yeah,
identities
secret
and
identities.
and public superheroes.
But she knows Superman's Clark Kent. She knows Batman's Bruce Wayne. She knows
Wait.
Flash Barry Allen. Yes, she knows this.
Are we talking movies or comics?
Yes.
Movies.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
she gave Bruce Wayne that folder.
Well, no.
In the
I,
movies,
I,
it's already been established, but yes, in comic book lore, yes, she knows.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because remember, part of what she does is to build something comparable to take down the Justice League should they ever turn against Earth.
So
because
the only
Justice League is the single biggest threat to the planet, not the villains they fight.
Right.
Which that just seems so backwards to me.
Which is basically what Batman does too.
His contingency plans.
All of his contingency plans, putting something in the background, and just in case one of these gets
someone
out of
goes
control.
rogue, yes, but all of his plans are pretty much to subdue.
But Furious said it.
Kill them.
Furious has said it that Waller is playing chess, as everybody else is playing checkers. She's playing chess.
Yeah.
As far as intellect and intelligence and strategy, she's right up there with Batman and Lex Luthor as far as the best strategist in the DC universe.
Hell, she might surpass them.
Yeah, I think she.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if she is every bit more smart. That didn't come out right. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Every bit as smart or more.
Arrogance does get the best of her sometimes, depending on the story being told or whatever. She will slip up, and sometimes she'll run afoul of, say, Batman. He'll be like, all right, you manipulated these people. They ain't as dumb as you think they are. One of them's going to get you one day.
Right.
I mean, wait a minute. Hold on. Speaking of which, didn't Amanda Waller get killed in Suicide Squad?
No.
The animated movie Hell to Pay, yes.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Never mind. That I'm sorry.
Well, she doesn't get killed. She dies.
Well, no. What I'm thinking about is the scene where she is being distracted by somebody, and then I think Deadshot shoots her in the head with a sniper rifle.
That's Assault on Arkham. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was getting that confused with live action Amanda Waller. Sorry.
But again, I think she would be a really good big bad as far as to pretty much to bring all those heroes, villains together. I think that'd be a great movie to work towards. And the fact that her and Viola Davis and James Gunn have a really good working relationship. I think. I mean, again, having him at the helm, he has a lot of good working relationships with like Henry Cavill, with Margot Robbie, with Viola Davis. So go ahead, Joy.
What's up with Superman being played by Henry Cavill? Is that still going on, or did they replace him? Like, I heard that they replaced him, but then they changed it back up. I just wasn't up on.
He's
because he went to The Witcher.
He's back now.
And now
he left The Witcher.
Yeah. He left The Witcher, which
he ruined The Witcher.
I mean,
I don't want to watch it.
You left Superman to play The Witcher, and now you leaving The Witcher to go back to Superman.
Yeah, they got Baby Helmsworth in the lead role for The Witcher now to replace him.
Baby
Helmsworth. It's not
Chris Helmsworth. It might as well be Baby Helmsworth.
I didn't think they could dirty up Cavill to make him, gritty enough to be The Witcher, but he pulled it off. So maybe they could dirty up Baby Hemsworth too.
Yeah.
There's not enough dirt in the world to make him dirty Cavill.
But his body, his body is just,
yes.
It's just not. This is how I felt with
it's not
Glitter Man, where he couldn't be Batman. I'm like,
Glitter Boy.
Again, it's all about
work out though. Like I feel like he could get it. I feel like he could get there. What I also didn't like about Pattinson was he was all on the internet like, oh man, I'm gonna eat pizza and not working out. I don't know shit. Boy, if you don't shut up and hit the gym and get this seriously, they're gonna have you in there with that press.
Did he hit it?
No.
So there's a picture. I just did a quick Google search on Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's been in the gym putting his time in. Now I don't know how much of Cavill as the Witcher came down to. I mean, obviously the man puts his time in the gym. That actually, Joy, that's the exact picture I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
Like
he
looks
no
like
Henry Cavill though. To me,
all I'm saying is, I guess the only thing I'm trying to get to is from a physique standpoint, he looks like he could play a decent Witcher.
Right. The makeup's gonna have to do the rest, and so we'll see what it looks
like. I honestly don't know if his acting chops are up to it because I don't know that I've ever seen Liam in anything. But physique wise, he looks like he play a decent. Would you say, James?
The remake of Red Dawn, the Hunger Games.
See that.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, but the Hunger Games, he wasn't.
A decade ago.
Yeah, he was still young in the Hunger Games.
Yeah. He was. lean.
Okay.
And he didn't have that big of a role for what they
Gotcha.
did with that character.
So
Okay.
Yeah, compared to how it was in the
Was in
book.
the books, yeah, because that
Yeah,
character
and-
has a much
and-
bigger role in the books.
in the books, then yeah.
we
Gotcha.
should refocus on back to why Batman vs Superman is the worst movie ever made.
You're getting an argument from me, Joy.
Right. In summary, it was trash.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wanted my money back, and I saw it for free.
Oh,
Goodness. Oh,
I
my
saved
goodness.
Furious from going to see it because I called him as I was walking home from the theater and was like, wait for this joint to come on HBO. Find a site to where you can download the joint for free.
Again,
And-
In a bootleg.
And I have never
How you know?
paid for any version of watching that movie.
again,
I
Batman.
called a lot of my friends after that movie was like, save your money, find a news group.
Batman
I'll
versus
take it back. It
Superman
is
to
not
be
the worst
pirates.
movie that was ever made because M. Night Shyamalan has been out there doing some bullshit for a decade. And so he did
He's
make
really,
that Airbender movie. It was
really hit or miss with his movies,
Garbage.
though.
No, he's just
he's more
missed.
miss.
More miss,
missed.
definitely more miss.
He ain't hit since The Sixth Sense.
What about
Right.
Yeah.
What about that movie with the split personalities?
He ain't hit since The Sixth Sense. Everything has been a miss.
Yeah, what about Split? Split was awesome.
Once again, your judgment is questionable.
Right?
There's
We've gone
live
over
action
this
ever
before,
since the last
Kyle.
episode. Whoa, wait,
No,
wait.
you're absolutely right. There's no live action last ever movie in this universe. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely.
I mean,
right.
I would like to believe that. Unfortunately, it exists
They're doing a live action Avatar.
on
Yeah, they are.
Netflix, but the
On Netflix.
showrunners left, and
Yeah,
Netflix
we'll
is
see.
still pushing through with it. Like the creators of
But
the
they canceled Cowboy Bebop. That's like a boo. Netflix, y'all get your life together.
To their credit for them still pushing through, the casting has been wonderful, unlike M. Night Shyamalan's monstrosity in which he whitewashed half the cast.
Right.
For a cartoon he was making a live action movie of where he was like he wanted to do this because his daughter said, and I quote, Katara looks just like me, but you cast the palest people possible in all significant roles.
And I'd have never expected that from a brown person.
There's a lot of issues. You know what? I'm not even gonna get into it.
No, that's for your
I'll
day
talk to
job.
y'all later. Yeah, that's my day job.
Ooh, James, what you saying that with the whitewashing? I saw something on TikTok, and it's something that I did not know. That Rogue, the creator of Rogue,
Mm-hmm.
he said he wanted her based on Grace Jones.
Really?
Really?
I can
Yes.
see that.
He's like, I don't care. Like, my only thing is when you create Rogue, I want her looking like Grace Jones. And the guy that drew her, he had no idea who the hell Grace Jones was. There was no internet back then, so he didn't bother to do any research. And Rogue came
was
out the
the
way that she was.
Late 60s to early mid 70s. How could you not know who Grace Jones was?
She was the
She came out-
supermodel of that time, but he did not know who
You
Grace
She
Jones
came out
was.
Sally
got
Jones.
freaking sheltered.
I'm sorry. I don't believe that because who did not see the Conan movies?
Right.
That
But
was
those
before.
are late 70s though.
That was before.
Rogue came out
She
before
started
that.
doing.
Yeah, Rogue was before that. Yeah.
She was a supermodel. She wasn't
She's talking about
acting
the
that.
80s, right?
Was
Of
that
the early 80s,
late
late
70s,
70s.
early 80s? Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you think about the time period, we'll call it 77. If you're looking about the time period there weren't a lot of men following fashion. So the fact that she was a supermodel meant nothing to them.
Yeah.
There was still very much black things and white things. And so if she was a black icon, he probably never read Jet or Ebony or any of that. He could very easily never have heard of Grace Jones. But he hears the name Grace. And again, if you have a white-centered mindset, Grace is innocent, beauty, purity, blah, 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 white woman. And so he just maybe assumed that Grace Jones was a white woman and with curves. And there you go. Rogue.
Well,
I'm reclaiming her.
So my thing is, it's like with that, Rogue's first appearance is like, wasn't it like in Avengers, but she's like a villain, and her hair was short.
1981.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Your hair was short, so it was like pretty much. I mean, it's like you could have had Grace Jones embodied with that, with the shorter hairstyle and everything. It's like you just made her skin white. It's just like
Okay, I'm looking it up now, and Conan the Barbarian was 1982.
Okay, so a year off. Still okay. So early 80s. Yeah, you should have known. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you should have known.
Conan the Barbarian was not a big like theatrical success though.
Wasn't?
I don't think it was.
Huh. I did not know that.
We all saw that on cable.
Yes,
true.
we did.
Very true.
We
very
did.
true.
It's more a cult classic than it is a legendary box office flick.
Okay. All right.
Because it was supposed
The
to be
Last Dragon was not a theatrical success, but every last one of us know who's the master.
Cult classic.
And
we all know who the master is.
Right.
We do know who the master is.
I need a prequel with Dion Cole. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
I need a
that would
prequel
be
with
brilliant.
Dion Cole.
So who are you casting as Bruce Leroy though?
He's not in the prequel.
He's not in the prequel.
Okay, all right.
He's not in the
all
prequel.
about show
The
enough.
villain prequel.
Okay.
This is the villain
Okay.
origin
It's all about
story.
show enough.
Yep, it's all about.
I can see
Show Enough.
that. I can see that. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't I hear? Speaking of, because I was going to say Cass's boy as the early Bruce Leroy, but isn't the younger twin brother from Blackish, like being tapped to do a live action Miles Morales?
That's what a lot of the rumors
That's
are.
a
I haven't
rumor
heard
going around,
anything
yeah.
that's
Nothing credible.
nothing true and credible, but that is from all the rumor sites. Yeah,
Well, if we're gonna manifest something, I'm with that. I think we make
absolutely. Yeah,
Let's put it this way: whoever they cast as Miles Morales, I ain't gonna be upset.
Right.
because it cast it. Period. Yeah.
Right.
That part.
you say that.
No. You ain't gonna steal my joy here. You shut your mouth.
Yeah, but you just can't give it to any black.
They'll cast like
Look,
Liam Hemsworth.
okay,
Exactly.
now, right now, you're being flat out disrespectful. Look,
As much as I love Halle Berry, she should not have been Storm.
No, she shouldn't
No.
have. Now, I will say there was one rumor years back after, like, I forgot when it was, but it was after the what's that boy's name? Jaden Smith was rumored to be Miles Morales at one point. Yeah, along with Static Shock.
Oh no.
Yeah, so his name was tossed around. This is like 10 years ago or something like that.
Was that before or after After Earth?
I don't even remember when After Earth came out, and I still haven't made it past 10 minutes into that movie.
Don't.
Or the Karate Kid remake.
I like the Karate Kid. I thought it was
The
cute.
Kung Fu Kid was great.
Not the Kung Fu Kid.
I'm gonna call it what it is. It's the Kung Fu Kid. There was no karate in that movie. It was all kung fu.
Yeah, you're right. Speaking of casting, Static Shock. So with them possibly making that movie, like I've seen a lot of Caleb McLaughlin, the kid from Stranger Things.
Yeah, I'm with that.
So
That kid is talented. He can act his behind off.
Yeah.
Now, the only question I would have with Static is knowing what Milestone did with Static.
Yes.
How far is Warner Brothers DC going to allow whoever makes this movie to push the boundaries of bringing a lot of what was discussed in the comics
They're not.
to the main screen?
Well, hold on a second. Why does Warner Brothers get any say so?
Because they're still the parent company, and one of those executives will be in the room.
Wait, so Milestone is owned wholeheartedly by Warner Brothers now?
Not Warner Brothers, but DC. It's still under the DC umbrella.
So would they be under DC Studios though?
Yeah, they probably would be, because every time DC does a special on diversity in comics, they're quick to bring up Milestone and talk about the origins of Milestone to where we are now and their rebirth. So Milestone is still wholeheartedly under the DC umbrella. It hasn't left.
Are we sure, or is it just a partnership that DC likes to use as our diversity piece?
That too, but it's still under the DC umbrella, much like Vertigo is.
And I think like the more recent static comics we got, like I know the reboot, the art direction that they had in there was incredible, and I love how they revamped his origin story. As far as it, instead of being a gang, like a gang battle. It's more
war.
More like a protest now.
Yeah.
So as far as being part of protest culture, I thought that was really
because they modernized the story for this era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would love to see, that movie brought to light. The only reason I bring up Caleb McLaughlin is because I know a lot of times when we have black roles that come as far as superheroes, we hear the same names. What we used to hear, like Idris Elba. It used to be Will Smith. It used to be, the same black actors.
Denzel
black actors.
Denzel Washington,
yes.
right, for everything. So as much as I would love to see Caleb McLaughlin for that Static Shock role, I would love to see some new blood in there. Because
I was gonna say I would either want Caleb or an unknown.
Right. Absolutely.
What about? So we mentioned Raising Dion earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know if this guy would be good for the role of Static or not.
Mm-hmm.
But remember the trainer in season 2?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is he too old though?
For Static?
Yeah. I think he might be too old.
He might be too old for Static.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Static,
he's too old.
For a role of Static, you definitely want somebody who looks like they're about 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And it gives off that youthful exuberance.
Then
I like
again, look at
McLaughlin for Static. One, because I want to make sure that he doesn't get pigeonholed as only that kid from Stranger Things,
right?
And he can't do anything else. But as a offshoot from that in Stranger Things, he's really, really smart.
Yeah,
he's inventive, he's creative, etc. And you could take some of those personality traits and put them on Static, and it'll still work. But it's also not a Stranger Things spin-off or movie. It's a whole different person. But I think it could help him branch into other stuff. Because I remember hearing about Glenn from The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
couldn't get a damn job.
Even Yoon.
Yeah.
Even Yoon.
In Hollywood because he was Glenn.
He was Glenn. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's the voice of
Invincible. Yeah. And I love that show.
Now that.
Love that.
And
pretty much the first thing he's done since then.
Yep, he was in Nope.
Yep.
He was in Nope. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Love that movie. Great movie.
Oh, you have the God, I can't remember her name. 11 in Stranger Things.
Millie Bobby Brown.
She's not stereotyped.
Well, I mean,
I know she's white. I understand.
No, there's that.
But she's still she's still a minority. She's white, but she's still a woman. Stereotype.
I'm happy to see.
But didn't they have one in that Godzilla movie staring at the wall and screaming a whole lot?
I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna catch. I'm sorry.
Yes, but she's also on Netflix as Sherlock Holmes' sister. She does a good show. Yeah, that's really good.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Are white women really minorities?
Women
are they?
Women are minorities. Don't make me smack you.
I'm just saying.
Women. You put all the women in the box, and then you want to separate them. That's fine. But
not necessarily a minority, but a protected class.
Protected class.
Yes.
Let it go, dude.
Because black men was able to vote before women, and it didn't matter what color the woman was.
Black men was able to president vote before a woman.
So yes,
they just a whole bunch of men just decided that women couldn't get an abortion. So yeah.
They got a point there, Furious. They got a point there.
All right, you might want to just drop this and move on to the next topic.
Yeah, Furious, come on now, because I grew up during the civil rights movement. Yeah,
right.
I don't care. I'm very proud of my age, because I'll tell you, I'm a year older than the Super Bowl.
All right, so I do have one question for you guys. Moving forward, as far as DC movies go, you guys think of Black Adam was a success. What do you think would make for a successful formula to get the DC movie landscape back on track? Do you think all hope is lost?
Back on track?
No, we got James Gunn. I'm not understanding why y'all are not excited. Okay, I am so excited for DC.
Before Furious answers, I will say yes, there was a track that they were on with Snyder.
Yes.
You mean Superman back in the 80s?
Snyder's
Snyder.
run over the DC universe in movies was going as well as it could be up
Which
until
movies
his
did
tragic.
Snyder do?
Man of
Snyder was
Steel,
over Man of
Batman
Steel,
versus
Superman
Superman.
versus Batman, and he started Justice League before his daughter tragically
Passed
committed
away.
suicide.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna call that a run.
So
And is- so-
one
and is
good.
that
Yeah,
So
one and a
reason why he
half
left?
movies.
so one out of three.
Yeah, that's one
2
out
out
of
of
three.
3.
That's a
What-
failing grade.
no, I'm
What's-
gonna go with Joy and say 1.5 because I feel
That's
like
still a 50. That's an F.
so let's put it this way. When I talk to people about Man of Steel, mostly women love it and only because of shirtless Henry Cavill. So that's
Yeah.
how I've dubbed that movie. Is
Yeah.
shirtless Henry Cavill. They don't love Man of Steel, they love shirtless Henry Cavill.
That's right.
So that makes it a flop.
But it was still a successful film.
It was a flop. Again, what were the movies? What were his movies?
I mean, the movie made like $800 million. I can't call that a flop.
Did it really?
Man of Steel made money, yes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Worldwide, I believe it did make close to $800 million. So yeah, that was not. It made its money. That was not a flop.
Huh. Okay.
Now, Batman v Superman barely made its initial investment back. Because remember, you got to make twice as what you put in. I only think they made like a little over one.
Because it was trash, Kyle, except that movie was trash.
Like they
No,
barely made
I'll
back
say
what they put into it.
worldwide box office, it did about $800 million.
What's that?
Batman
BBS?
vs Superman, yeah.
Okay.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
No, he's looking it up right now. Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Just because it made a lot of money does not make it a good movie.
It still didn't make twice its investment because its investment, I want to say, was close to like more than half that number.
It was still trash. It's like that. It's like Dabney Bricky from the Cosby Show. Do we all remember Dabney Bricky?
Yeah, Vanessa's husband.
The steak on a trash can lid. That's what that movie is.
So,
Well, the Snyder's cut was good. I
All I'm saying
I
is-
was like, what the hell is the Snyder's cut? And then I saw it and I was like, okay, well, this was better than the original. That's how I feel.
Yes, and all I'm saying is if Snyder had, that unfortunate family tragedy didn't take place and he had his run, we don't know what we could have had. Now, granted, we did get one solid Wonder Woman film. We got a pretty solid Aquaman movie, and we got Shazam.
Yeah,
right.
I do like Shazam.
So we got 3 pretty solid movies.
Yeah.
And then there was Wonder Woman 84. And the back and forth with Ben Affleck supposedly taking over and being Batman, and he's not Batman, but he's Batman again, and he's not Batman. And whether or not we're going to get another Superman film, and Ray Fisher coming out and saying that Joss Whedon is a trash human being and nobody believed him. So here we are now. So back on track. Yeah, it's possible with Gunn and the other dude running things. But again, if The Rock has already come out and said he wants to go forward with Black Adam being the center of the DC universe going forward, and now you got Gunn and this other dude running things, at some point the 3 of them are going to come to a meeting of heads. Something ain't going to go right.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I think The Rock and Gunn are on the same wavelength.
My money's on Rock. So whatever Rock is doing, I'm gonna do that.
I mean, look at how The Rock just up and walked away from the Fast and Furious franchise. I think he would just as easily walk away from DC.
True.
If it comes to that.
We'll see. Yeah. See, so in my opinion, I think there is a set formula out there that they can follow. And I think it
has to be different from Marvel, though.
Yeah, for sure. In my opinion, the animated universe, the DC animated universe did it perfectly. You start off with, even though you guys lament Batman, you start off with Batman. And I think Matt Reeves did a really good Batman movie. The Batman was a good start. You have that dark and depressing city of Gotham City, and you have this person of Bruce Wayne who is growing pretty much. It's starting to be pretty much the start of him as Batman. Hasn't established that Bruce Wayne mask yet. Mm-hmm. He's more comfortable in being Batman. And I think at the end of that movie, you have a person who has to learn to put on that mask to be a beacon of hope for that city.
Mm-hmm.
in the anime universe, it started off with Batman.
Batman still isn't a beacon of hope for anything.
No. I'm not saying Batman. I'm saying Bruce Wayne.
Bruce
Wayne.
Okay,
Bruce Wayne.
Okay, all right.
Because Bruce Wayne is a beacon of hope in Gotham City. Batman isn't.
True.
The only nitpicky thing I will say is I'm kind of Batmaned out.
Okay,
Right.
no, I get
Like,
no.
all?
No. I'll get that. So, in my opinion, to contrast that, you have in that same universe, you have a Superman movie to contrast that. Instead of having the dark and gritty city of Gotham, you have a bright and colorful city of Metropolis, and you see the contrast between a person like a Batman and a Superman. You have more of a bright and shining protector of Metropolis, and you kind of build on that. And then go ahead.
I think that's one of the things. Like, I hear you saying all of this, and I think I'm agreeing with you, but it's going to sound like I'm not. But all the things that they've done so far in the DC universe, they're not cohesive. So as you're talking, I'm thinking about, you mentioned the Joker that was Oscar nominated, won an Oscar, is not in the universe with any of the Batmans.
So it's an Elseworld. It could be like an Elseworld tale.
Like at simultaneously right now, we got the sparkly vampire Batman, we got Ben Affleck as Batman in a different movie. Then we got Wonder Woman, and then Black Adam is over here, and none of them are doing the same thing. Whereas if you look at Marvel, every movie they put out, even the ones they put out on Disney Plus, the series and everything,
they're all linked.
That's a universe. There's not a DC cinematic universe.
There's no DC cinematic. There's just DC movies,
and that's where James Gunn is going to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
but again, it's not just James Gunn, and that's the problem.
He's the one that's doing the creative director is James Gunn.
Co-CEO.
Right. You go and you take care of the money. You go and you do that, and I'm doing this. They're doing two different things.
So I will say you can have. So I get what you guys are saying as far as not being all a shared universe, because Marvel has a shared universe. Their movies, their animated films, like the What If series. Yeah. All that's tied into the movies. Even their games, to an extent, are kind of tied into the movies.
They even pulled in the Netflix foursome because we had heard that was not going to be canon. The next thing you know, Daredevil showed up in the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even like that. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You went from the movies to the TV show.
So all of it's connected. The one thing I will say about DC is it's like you could have a connected universe, but some of my favorite DC stories are what are called Elseworlds tales. Gotham by Gaslight. That's nothing to do with a lot of the main continuity of the main DC universe from the comics. That's an Elseworlds tale altogether, but that's one of my favorite stories. So you can have a connected universe, but you could also have other films that aren't necessarily connected that gives the directors more freedom to do what they want.
I think
what have they done with that freedom? They've had
Joker and Batman. Joker and the Batman, two great films. Two great films.
First of all, Joker was not a great film.
It was not good.
Kyle, when you do what you're suggesting, you start confusing the fan base.
Okay.
And I
can totally see that.
If you confuse the fan base, you're screwed.
Well, it's not the fan base; it's the general audience.
Yes.
Because the fan base gets it.
You confuse the constituency. Yeah, whoever's watching these movies is like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Right.
Why is this? So which Batman am I supposed to follow? You know?
Right.
We will get that. The general public will look at you like, why are you doing this?
So do you say that? So the Harley Quinn animated show that comes on HBO Max is voiced by a completely different actress, and you have Margot Robbie, who's Harley Quinn in the series. Do you think people care that it's two different actors playing the same character?
You're deflecting. That is not what we're talking about.
No, I'm just saying that's two different.
Nobody cares those two different actresses. We're talking about universe building,
right?
You know, so the same way they replaced. I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody they replaced in Marvel. Incredible Hulk, right? They replaced your boy with Ed Norton,
Mark Ruffalo.
Thank you very much for those names. And so we don't care that the actors got replaced, but they have very much alluded to the fact that movie with Ed Norton is a part of the universe. They just replaced the actor. They replaced.
He said, "I put the gun." He said, "I put the gun in my mouth, and the other guy spit the bullet out."
Yep.
That's from the Ed Norton Hulk.
Yep.
The story like Joey is saying, the story carries. You've got to do that.
Don Cheadle replaced Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
But Howard's
and no one cared.
His role in the first Iron Man wasn't that major.
No.
Yeah, and Terrence Howard was right for the role in that first one because he was being a little ass and he was in his feelings all the time and he was petty and he was petulant.
And he
was
felt
perfect
because
with
he
that.
was Oscar nominated that he should
Whatever.
be,
Mhm.
getting
He
more
wanted-
money or
he
whatever.
wanted-
He was kind of done dirty in that. He was kind of did
Actually,
dirty.
the more info that I find out about what happened, initially I was on Marvel's side, but the more and more I hear, the more and more I'm like,
They
Terrence
did
was
Terrence
right.
dirty.
Yeah.
They did Terrence real dirty.
Okay,
because they got Robert Downey.
Yes, but was he asking to be paid more than Robert Downey Jr.?
He should
Yes.
have been paid
He
more
should
than
have been
Robert
paid
Downey
more.
Jr.
No,
Why?
he shouldn't have. Robert Downey Jr. is the lead actor in that movie. You're not going to be paid more than him.
So they got Robert Downey Jr. on the cheat, on the super
understand.
cheat.
But James,
that.
if what we've been hearing is true, Terrence Howard got Robert Downey that role.
Thank you.
If
Okay.
if what we've heard is true, he
That's
got
fine.
him that role. Also, as much as we all may like/love Robert Downey Jr., Terrence Howard was coming off of an award-winning performance.
Thank you.
He deserved more money. Now, you can make the argument that he shouldn't get more money because he's not the lead, but you're not going to tell me an Oscar-winning actor doesn't deserve more than what Terrence Howard was getting in that movie.
And I will counter with, in what movie have you seen where the supporting actor makes more than the lead actor?
So yeah, for me, that's a negotiation issue. If you're an award-winning actor and you're pulling in the main character, you negotiate that up front. If he had a problem with how he was being paid, why are you in the first movie? Because you've already set a precedent. I will take this. Now you can't try to change later because you're no longer coming off an award-winning whatever. You're coming off of Robert Downey Jr. making that movie.
But Joy, so some of what's been coming out though is that in the beginning his contract was for more money. But after the first Iron Man, Marvel said, we're not going to pay you what we agreed to pay you.
Okay,
now,
that's different.
I don't know if all of that's true. We're really speaking about conjecture, but I keep hearing that same information from multiple sites, and it's starting to get me to believe it.
I kept hearing that a gerbil went up somebody, but back in the day. That was never true. But you heard it a whole lot. Right.
That is very true.
But
that is very true.
Personally, if he stayed in that role, I don't.
It wouldn't have been as good.
I
really like Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle's much better in that role than he is.
in that role.
Much better.
Yeah, he is. But Kyle, to go back to what you're saying about getting DC, trying to get DC on track.
Yeah.
Point number one. Yes. Remove Warner Brothers from any and all discussions of DC movies. You got to get them out because, again, it goes back to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, we're an art house. We make these wonderful films and we got to showcase our actors. And no, that's not what superhero movies are about. Superhero movies are about making comic books live action. Okay. That's at the end of the day, that's all we care about. Truth be told, we don't care that it was Robert Downey Jr. who played Iron Man. We just wanted a good Iron Man. Yeah. The fact that who is it that played Zeus in the most recent Thor movie? Russell Crowe. We really don't give two shits about it being Russell Crowe as long as there was a decent performance for Zeus.
Yeah, and I didn't even like that performance, to be honest.
And Marvel has figured it out. It's not about big powerhouse actors. It's about bringing comic books to life. Hell, look at the Thor movies where you've got Matt Damon playing a fake Loki in a play inside of Thor.
Right.
It's hilarious.
Who thought of that?
Right.
And I feel like Matt Damon did that on his day off. Like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm gonna be in this movie.
See, so again,
he will work for craft services. He's just over there eating a sandwich.
Marvel gets it, and again, it goes back to when DC bought Marvel. And granted, we weren't in the rooms, but my theory is Marvel or Disney said to Marvel, "We like what you guys are doing. You're making money. We're going to infuse a little bit of that Disney cash. They may or may not have given them some pointers to get that Disney polish on it, but at the end of the day, Disney does not interfere in Marvel movies.
Right.
And as long as Warner Brothers is interfering in DC movies, they're never going to be any real competition for Marvel's screen time.
So 2 points to that. So one, when Joss Whedon took over Justice League and made that, there was an executive from Warner Brothers on set. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but at the end of the Justice League film, Cyborg and Flash do a fist bump and he says, "Booyah." The executive who was on set from Warner Brothers
Made them do.
fought to have that in the movie because his son, however old he was at the time, that executive's son loved Cyborg so much that he wanted Cyborg to say "Booyah" at some point during the movie because he loved the Teen Titans cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Second point, and Joy, you remember this because we went to a panel at DragonCon about this. The Octavia Butler, when Milton Davis was talking about how sometimes it's not about how much money a thing makes. It's the executives in the room who make the decision based on stupid personal things, like my barber's daughter's cat didn't like this show, so we're canceling it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how, unfortunately, decisions get made, and that's Warner Brothers' issue. Where there's always a Warner Brothers executive on site for every DC project, forcing some trivial nonsense into the movie because I want it in there.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna slander my own fandom real quick. Like I'm gonna go back to like this whole Marvel cohesive universe. The other thing that is accreted to it is I've watched some series that I didn't want to necessarily watch. I didn't really give a damn about Moon Knight, and I had to push myself through Miss Marvel because I was like, this little girl getting on my nerves. But I wanted to make sure that I saw everything that was going on because there was a chance something might happen that was going to be in the larger movies. And so I watched, which I gave them all those clicks and views and everything. I fast forwarded through a couple of those Miss Marvels. Like, if you don't get off this damn screen, what's going on? And just so I would make sure I was up on all of it. And I surprisingly liked Moon Knight when I got into it, but I would never have watched that if it wasn't connected to the larger universe. Right. So when you keep all those things connected, completionists like me is like, okay, well, I gotta watch this show so I make sure I don't miss nothing. Same thing with She-Hulk. Some stuff went down towards the end of She-Hulk that if you show up at the next Marvel, they just drop some. They really pulled the fast ones. They just dropped some stuff. Like, we're not even going to explain what's happening here. Just he's got a kid. He was over here. Aliens and go. So it's great, but it drives attachment to the overall universe. So every entity makes more money because they're all part of the overall universe.
Yeah. And I'll say the fact that Warner Brothers hiring Bob Iger, the guy that helped build the MCU, they hired him, and pretty much he came on board this year. Mm-hmm. The fact that you get somebody like James Gunn, what Furious?
Wait, did you just say they brought on Bob Iger?
Yeah.
You mean former Disney executive Bob Iger?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So my thing is they're borrowing from their competition. They're bringing on a man who helped build the MCU.
They need to, obviously.
Yeah. So this is the thing. It's okay to do that. So they're
join them or steal their people.
Right. So my thing is they're doing that move right there. They're giving DC their own studio. So again, we're going to be more hands on, and we're giving you your own studio. We're putting somebody at the helm who is a fan of DC Comics. I mean, look at Peacemaker. Peacemaker is a great show. That's a great show.
I'm jumping in there with Teresa. I'm in her tile now. I can't stand stupid. That is just stupid. It's so stupid comedy.
But it's a character of Peacemaker, and it's a good character. James Gunn's a true fan of that character. That's a good show. But you have a fan of DC Comics at the helm. So it's the small things that they're doing that are starting to add up. That may, like I said, I'm optimistic for the future of DC Studios.
I'm glad you are.
Yeah.
Let's review this in 5 years.
Yeah,
I am, James. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I didn't know about that other guy, Kyle, but I was excited when I just heard James Gunn. I'm just he gets it. Guardians, he got it. I mean, you had the Guardians was like, I'm not coming back. I want him. And then
because he still has a third film to finish for them.
Yes, the new Christmas special is coming out this year.
Yeah, and the special comes out later on this month.
And the fact that him and Kevin Feige are like really good friends. That's the one man that I would imagine to bring together like a crossover event between DC and Marvel. That's the one person I could possibly see doing that. Him and Kevin Feige coming together. They've even spoken about it too. So again, I think this could work out.
Look, as long as Warner Brothers executives stay in their lane, I can be overly joyful about the state of DC projects going forward. Live action projects going forward, because I never have a problem with their animation.
Right.
But as long as somebody from on high in Warner Brothers Mount Olympus decides to descend to the lowly masses and says, yeah, we're canceling Batgirl and the CW universe can go to hell and we don't care about this stuff over here and all the stuff on HBO Max were cut. Like, when you got people like that making decisions and dictating what's going on in as well as in the movies too, yeah, I'll see that and I believe it. So when James Gunn pretty much says he's overseen a movie in which there was zero Warner Brothers oversight, then I'll be a believer. But until I hear those words come out of his mouth, I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'm sorry, James. I can't even give you that. I can't give that those words just come out of his mouth. I need to see 3 consistently excellent DC movies.
Okay.
I need 3 consistent, excellent DC movies. Because when was the last time we had that?
The Dark Knight trilogy?
Never.
No, the Dark Knight trilogy. No.
What?
The third one was kind of.
And not all of those movies were excellent.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the third movie was garbage.
Yeah.
All right, the Christopher Reeve Superman
I like
films?
Bane.
Come on now, you don't think that the Wonder Woman and then Aquaman and then
You like Quest for Peace was 4. I'm talking about
okay. I was about to say you like the Quest for Peace.
No, not the Quest for Peace. 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see
Superman
that.
1, 2, and 3. We try not to talk about 4.
Wait, is 4 the one that had the dude who was made from the sun? I think.
Yeah.
Okay, that was okay. But yeah, but no, I still like. But yet, no, I'm sorry. Even with the Dark Knight trilogy, no, not all of those movies were excellent. I'm sorry, I did not like the third one at all.
Okay.
Were there 4 excellent Marvel movies in a row?
Yeah.
Name.
I'm waiting. Let's go.
Civil War. Let's go. Civil War. What time of movie was after Civil War? Because it's that range of Civil War through Black Panther, and I'm trying to remember the 2 films in between. Doctor Strange and was it Guardians in between there? I want to say those 4 movies were in a row.
I'm not even looking them up. Not even trying to remember.
But even with
too.
Marvel movies, even if there weren't 4 consecutive great movies, there weren't any Batmans in there. You know, there were watchable movie, watchable, enjoyable
I'm gonna need you to chill.
You don't have any the Batman
I'm gonna
in
need you
there.
to chill. I'm gonna need you to
Okay,
don't
so,
chill, Teresa.
so Joy, to answer your question, okay, so here's what I'll give you, because I'm looking at the Wikipedia listing now of the order of the Marvel movies. I would easily go Ant-Man, Captain America: Civil War, Doctor Strange. I really would.
What was the 4th film? What's the next film after Doctor Strange?
The next
Guardians
one
of
is
the
Guardians
Galaxy
of the Galaxy Volume 2.
And before that was Age of Ultron, which I personally love, but I'm the only person I know that loves that movie.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I
liked
thoroughly
Age of
enjoyed Age of Ultron, but it wasn't a good movie.
No.
It was
And
not a
that's
good
pretty much-
movie.
Understand that's the movie that got Whedon kicked out of the MCU.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Age of Ultron got Whedon kicked out. Because remember,
It should have.
if you try to, I don't want you to torture your brain, but if you remember, there are particular scenes in Whedon's version of Justice League that are rehashes of things he did in Age of Ultron. Like in Age of Ultron, where the robots destroy Stark's high rise when they're partying and whatnot. There's a scene where Bruce falls on Natasha after they roll over the bar.
Yeah.
He recreates that in Justice League with Flash and
Wonder Woman.
And Gal Gadot said, "There's no way I'm filming this scene," so they had to film her stunt double taking the fall, and then they do a cut scene to Flash looking away, like apologizing, and then they put Gal Gadot in the shot because she didn't want to film that scene. She felt it was demeaning to her to even film it. So there's stuff like that that made Joss Whedon problematic. that he just basically rehashed. So my thing is DC went that route for him to do it, knowing full well his toxicity. So
yeah,
he is problematic as hell. Yeah.
All right,
James
here's another
Spade had it
four.
for me.
Okay, here we go. Thor Ragnarok. Shut up. I loved it.
That's the
Black Panther.
that's
Avengers
the list I
Infinity
was
War.
That was
about.
a good one.
That's the list I was about to read off to you, Joy.
Mhm.
And then the fourth one in that, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And the one before that, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Wait, Ant-Man and the Wasp, the one with the who was a ghost?
yes,
Yeah.
That was good.
that was
It wasn't
good.
Yes.
excellent, but it was all right.
That
was
was
good.
good.
But I
I
was
hate
saying
it.
Spider-Man Homecoming. I
I
love
like
it.
that take on Ghost too.
Now I hate
It was alright.
Thor Ragnarok, but the rest of them I'm good on.
You hated
You
Ragnarok?
hate Ragnarok.
MG. Yes, I hated Thor
I think that's
Ragnarok.
the Dark World because Dark World was
I
trash.
could easily
Yeah, I
get
didn't
you
like
if
the
you
Dark
hated
World.
the Dark
Dark
World.
World was horrible.
Dark
Thor
World was trash.
Ragnarok
Yeah.
was the first silly one, and I don't like silly. Remember?
Oh,
And he
yeah.
hasn't
Okay.
returned.
Okay.
He hasn't been serious since. He hasn't been
Right,
serious since.
exactly. And what was this last one? It was even
Love
worse.
and Thunder.
Yeah.
Oh
Love
my
and Thunder.
God.
Those two
They-
damn goats.
Ghost was awesome, though. Not
The
the
goats, I don't even have a problem with the goats. I like the goats. I watch
They did my-
veterinarian shows.
They did my
Remember,
boy
I like
Gore
the goats.
dirty.
It was
They
just
just
was
was used way too much for me.
Silliness.
I've enjoyed the sillier Thor movies. I love that.
It's just me. I don't
Thor
like
needed
silly.
that because the first two films, I'm sorry, like whoever they got to do those films, I'm not saying Thor's not a serious character, but he was way too serious. Like those films were way too serious for what they were supposed to be. There was no level of brevity or lightheartedness in those films whatsoever.
And
Those should have
Ragnarok
been DC
was the
movies.
polar opposite.
Furious,
I feel
come on,
if
man.
they had gone like incorporated a little of the
What?
serious Thor and a little bit of the silly Thor, it would have been different. But they
Okay.
went from
One
super
extreme to the
hyper
other for you.
drama to
I get
just
it. I
damn
understand.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
It's like
other
But
thing,
Taika Waititi has a certain storytelling style to where
That I don't like.
yeah, and you gotta you gotta like I've seen like I know I've seen one of his other films, and that granted it was like an artsy style film, but the level the humor that he injects into his projects is he's a different type of storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
but what gets me though is one of the things that gets me about this is I remember people complaining that the Marvel movies were too formulaic. Then you get Taika Waititi, and he comes in and he breaks the formula with those two Thor movies, and people still hated them. Like, wait, you hated the other ones because they're formulaic. Now you hate these because they
And
don't follow
Eternals
the
to that as
formula.
well.
'Cause
I
they're
didn't have a
irreverent.
problem with the
Because
formula.
Eternals wasn't formulaic either.
Not at all. Well,
No, it wasn't.
I give Eternals a 5.
That's fine. but it didn't follow the same Marvel formula. I didn't say it was good. I just said it wasn't formulaic.
True.
True.
It's still higher than Love and Thunder for me.
Yeah.
I don't
You know
care.
what though?
Boy.
That's the one movie. Even though I like the movie, I like what the premise of it, etc. It doesn't feel like it's in the universe yet. Like I just don't
Yeah.
see the rest of them anywhere else.
The
And
Eternals.
then there's still the point of what the hell was y'all doing during Endgame? Where y'all at? Did y'all all get snapped? What the fuck? So
not
for
interfering
me,
like they were supposed to.
whatever.
So,
yeah, they're not supposed to interfere.
Look, there was nods to them in She-Hulk.
yeah.
Okay.
So all I'm hoping for, because I know Black Panther 2 comes out next week, all I'm hoping for is to Marvel to fix their villain problem. That's it. That's all I want.
What
It's just
villain
like that.
problem?
Marvel has a
what is
pretty
your-
Too many of the villains are one-offs.
one-offs.
Oh.
Way too many of
I
them.
do get that. If you look pretty much for like the first 13
So like,
or so
the
films,
villains are gone after the end. That's what you're saying?
yeah, with the
Villains are-
exception of Loki and Thanos in like the first 13 or so movies, every single villain is a one-off because
Yeah.
they die.
Black Widow.
Maybe
don't
they'll bring
Legend of the
someone-
Ten Rings.
This,
I'm
look,
curious. What's wrong with killing off the villains?
this is not-
Yeah. I'm with you on
And that's
that
what
one.
you're supposed to do. That's why Batman got problems. He be putting
Right there. Thank
That's
you,
not-
Joy.
That's not the only reason, but yeah.
Joker is
Oh
coming
my
back.
god!
If
But look at
Batman
all the
was
great
to kill
stories.
the
But look at
Joker,
all the look at
there
all the
are
great
a
stories
number
you
of-
get because of that, though.
There are a
to
number
quote
of
Ja- to
Marvel
quote-
villains that are
to
still
quote
alive.
To quote Jason Todd, look at all the graveyards the Joker has filled.
But you wouldn't have got Death in the Family if the Joker was dead.
I'm okay
You
with that.
wouldn't have
Just kill
got
the
Death in
Joker.
the Family
Oh
if
my
Joker was
God.
dead.
You got so many stories,
wouldn't have-
good stories.
And
We
Death
wouldn't
of
have-
the
we
Family
wouldn't have
wasn't
had-
Joker's fault. It was the fans' fault because they called the one of two numbers to kill that kid. And Jason Todd deserved to die. I don't
You
care
know
what
what?
no one
That
says.
speaks about all DC people. If they were like, kill the child. I mean, really?
Jason Todd deserved to die. I'm
Y'all
sorry.
got issues.
If you read comics in the early 80s when Jason Todd took over for Dick Grayson, Jason Todd deserved to die. I'm sorry.
Was he that bad of a Robin?
He was annoying.
So you remember how people, the audience complained about Damian Wayne early on?
Yeah.
Magnify that by 10. That's how much they hated
Yes.
Jason Todd in the beginning.
He's annoying.
Oh damn.
Todd was worse than Damian.
Wow.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
It's
he
pretty
was
bad for a bunch of strangers to say, murder this adolescent. I mean, they wanted it. This is bad. I'm going to pick up my phone and dial and vote for you to die.
Right. them DC fans, I tell
DC
you, I don't know
fans,
what's wrong with
right.
them.
We don't care about child murder.
Right?
Clearly.
from the death of Jason Todd to you got who was after Todd?
Tim Drake.
DC
Tim
said,
Drake.
dead children.
It was damn near a decade before Tim Drake shows up after the death of Jason Todd.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a
We're
while.
not going to talk about how people just keep letting a strange person adopt these random children. We ain't going to talk about that.
I mean,
He's a bit. Once again, he's a rich white person
Rich white person just
adopting a
adopt.
bunch of.
so
Right.
he didn't. So hold up. The only one he adopted was Dick Grayson.
Grayson, right?
So the other ones just live there. Where's
Well,
the
no,
shooting off?
They'll live there.
No,
They'll live
Jason
there.
Todd. He found Jason Todd because Jason Todd was stealing the hubcaps off the Batmobile.
Mhm.
The fact
That's
that the
how he found
Batmobile
Todd.
has hubcaps should tell you something.
It was the 80s. We don't talk about that.
Why does the Batmobile have
Hold up.
hubcaps?
He didn't find Tim Drake. Tim Drake found him
Found
because
him.
Tim Drake figured out Batman was Bruce Wayne.
Mhm.
And that was in the
80s.
wasn't that in the 3 movies?
Tim Drake was in the he was in the 90s in the comic books, but
no,
it
I'm
wasn't.
saying like wasn't the cop named Tim Drake in
Oh,
the third
Robin.
Batman?
It was Robin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
yeah.
name was Robin. Yeah,
Mhm.
the officer in the third Batman Dark
Yeah.
Knight film. Yes, he ended up figuring out that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
Okay.
Well, that
But still,
he
there's a
figured
lot of
out
little
because
boys around
Batman
there.
left him a trail.
Oh no, he had put it together early in the film because he was talking about him coming to the orphanage and whatnot all the time. Yeah, go back and watch that film and listen to the dialogue
No,
that he has.
no, I'm not going to go back and watch that movie. It's not good. No.
Well, look up the
Somebody
dialogue on
start YouTube with just
IMDb
that
or some other
scene for you.
website so you can find the conversations that they had.
I'm sorry. I've got so many issues with that movie. That's a whole show by itself.
But yes, that cop character does make several allusions to that. He knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Okay.
But yeah, the
Oh,
first 3
man.
Robins, yes, that's how they come about. He adopts Dick Grayson, Jason Todd steals his hubcaps, and Tim Drake flat out figures out who he is.
Gotcha.
And then Damian is born because Talia al Ghul drugged him one night and had sex with him.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna talk about
She
these
raped
assaults.
him.
I mean, it's a whole lot of sexual assault in the DC universe.
Yeah, because another villain ended up taking sexual assaulted Dick Grayson.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, I forgot. Talking about
Yeah.
Harley Quinn?
No, not Harley. Well,
Uh-uh.
the Batman and Harley Quinn story where they put that in that movie, the animated film, is from that. But he was working for Argus. It happened, and they paired him up with a villain.
Because in the movie, it doesn't look like he was assaulted to me. Not in the movie.
No means no, Furious.
In the
I'm
comics,
just saying. There's that scene in the movie.
Stop.
I'm just saying, there's that scene in the movie where Dick Grayson, he's tied up and Harley's taking off her clothes and she turns around and looks at him and it's like, oh. And when she persists, he doesn't say no. I'm just saying.
Batman does walk in on them pillow fighting in the bed.
Right. So again, I don't know what comic that's based off of, but in the movie,
It's not. It's
it
a
didn't look like
continuation of the
assault.
animated. It's a continuation story from the animated series. It's not based off a comic book.
Okay.
So
But-
in conclusion, DC has got some disturbing shit,
Right?
and they people that love it
Yeah.
are disturbed a little bit because they go to a child to die,
Yeah.
and none of the movies are connected to each other, and that's one of their problems.
But there's
They have
optimism
brought
for the
in
future.
some problematic people to make more problematic movies that might be better in some aspects, but are probably still going to oppress people of color and women. If I
So
sum
Kyle,
it up,
what
that-
is it? Kyle, what has happened that gives you such optimism?
Again,
James
Gunn.
James Gunn.
James Gunn.
The
Gunn,
Kyle
Tiger.
and
mean
Paul
the
is
co-
excited.
You mean the
I'm
co-CEO
excited.
that has never worked in any
You
industry
keep
before?
saying co-CEO. Yes, they both, but they two different jobs. You're going to
Okay.
go and you're going to invest. You're going to promote. I'm going to make the movies.
That's only if that actually happens.
Okay.
They will-
Again,
it'll
And
happen.
a
remember
lot
the
of movies that
remember the
they have no
prediction I
title,
made
so it
earlier.
won't work that way.
Yeah, Furious. We will remember that prediction. We will remember that prediction.
And that's why
And I-
there's hope. That is something that keeps people alive. When people come and they try and take us and do whatever, why you can't kill you damn people from Earth? Because we have hope. I know that makes no sense to you guys, but
I mean,
it's
in Marvel
It makes
Comics,
sense. It was just
humanity
it was
has
it was deep.
a mutation that makes us all susceptible to adapting superpowers. But I don't know what's going on in the
So-
DC universe.
I'm sorry. In the Marvel universe, I side with Magneto. Humanity has got to go.
I was gonna say, James, they actually touched on that in the what was it? It's the they've done it like an animated series and in the the Dark Knights Metal series. There is pretty much nth metal is seeded into the Earth's core somehow, some way that gives So it's very
Is that
interesting.
what that Metal series was about?
Yeah, it's real good.
So
real
Batman Metal
good.
was that.
That's a really good. Like I got a ton of the the one-offs that they did as far as the different versions of Batman, like the Batman Who Laughs, Red Death, one of my favorites. They have a ton of different versions of that. But yeah, that was an incredible storyline.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to read more DC comics, but I need more characters who look like me.
Yeah, for sure. The new Green Lantern series coming out is focusing on Jon Stewart.
I mean, they say that, but I
Ever
gave
since
hope to the
Discovery-
Cyborg series, and it was horrible.
And ever since Discovery came in, they've been wiping out shows left and right.
They have.
Yeah,
They
I'm
definitely
getting
have.
tired of Discovery's people making decisions. So
They definitely have.
Yeah.
Just because they were doing some success with this Discovery Plus, that's not the same.
We'll see.
But
We'll see.
Discovery, it really looks like Discovery's whole thing is how can we come in and make more money off of this? Oh wait, let's get rid of anything where we have to pay writers and actors.
Yeah.
well, understand that officially next year, the Arrowverse will be dead.
Good riddance.
Like,
I mean, hell, it's
no,
on life
seriously.
support now.
The
Good
only
riddance.
show that will still exist, and I don't even consider it part of the Arrowverse. I don't care how many people guest star on it, is Superman and Lois.
I love that show.
And that's fine. It's a good show, but I don't even consider that part of the Arrowverse.
Right.
I mean, when Flash ends next year, it is the last standing show of that. It's over with.
Yeah, I won't be sad to see the Flash go because it got milked.
Overstayed its welcome. Yeah, it did.
It got milked.
But again,
And then
that goes back to
Stargirl
my
just-
point about things being able to reap the benefits of being part of a bigger universe. We're talking about the Arrowverse, right? All the CW shows, all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people that watch other shows just for the crossover or wanted to see how this ended or whatever, stuck with something way beyond its prime because they were building off of that. It was all one universe. And they're able to do that in the cartoons. They're able to do that on the CW, but they do not do that on the big screen.
Yeah. I will give you that.
So I would love to see them either build a universe around Black Adam the way Rock wants to, or build a universe around Amanda Waller. Because those movies, like I said, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
But give me one Batman that I can hate on. I mean,
Right. Just pick
stop-
a Batman.
Yeah,
Pick a Batman.
pick a bat. Really.
Or don't pick a Batman. We can just mention him by
Should
name
be.
and he exists.
Thank you.
Or
We-
like
Be
in
like
that one
and
episode.
Black Adam, he's just on a poster.
Again, and as much as I hate, I'm not gonna say I hate Batman, but as much as he's overused, remember that one
Yes, yes.
episode from the Justice League cartoon when they're all turning themselves in and Batman says, I don't have to do anything, I'm a part-timer, remember? Let
Yeah.
Batman's role in these movies just be when they're trying to figure something out. There's a cut scene to Batman or Bruce or somebody investigating something, and then it cuts back to, all right, let me send you guys what I figured out, and we don't see him
Mhm.
again.
Exactly.
Just enough to satisfy those Batman stands and no more than his overstayed welcome.
Exactly.
I
Just
think
be a
you
little
give-
cameo.
Yeah, I think you give him a little bit of a. In my opinion, I think you give him a little bit of a break, and you bring him back in a big way. That's what I think.
But
Or you give
isn't
him a
that what
long
they've
break
been
and
doing?
bring him back in small.
They've
No,
been
because
doing that for 20 years.
Warner Brothers' whole thing is we got to make a movie. Let's do Batman and Superman.
Thank you.
And that's their go-to for every freaking superhero movie they wanted to do up until Wonder Woman came out.
Thank you.
And there are so many other wonderful DC characters that they could make movies and TV shows about.
True.
I mean,
Instead
people, a
freaking
lot
The
of people
Rock
may not
fight
know.
for 15 years to make Black Adam come to the screen.
Yeah.
And still didn't want to
I mean,
do it.
like when they made Stargirl, the only thing I know about Stargirl comes from the Justice League cartoons, but I was rooting for that show to do well when they finally
Yeah.
put it on.
Yeah,
And then
And
they
it did
just
do well.
canceled it. And
Well,
I just heard the announcement, I think last week, that they canceled it.
Yeah, it's canceled. When this current season ends, that's it.
yeah.
The last time I had hope for a DC film outside of the big two was when they said they were doing the Jonah Hex movie. And I
forgot
was
about that.
horribly let down.
I'm about
Yeah,
to say,
that
I
was a
remember that
terrible
Jonah
movie.
Hex movie. It was hot garbage.
Josh
It was
Brolin.
terrible.
Yeah.
Megan-
Jonah Hex.
Our
Megan
minds
Fox.
have decided to forget it. That's why. We
And-
are
and-
erasing
and look,
it
I was
ourselves.
hyped for it
from our memory.
because I got introduced to Jonah Hex from Batman the Animated Series. And then, of course, that one time travel episode in Justice League Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking forward to something set way back in that time period. You know,
Yeah.
lawless West still expanding of this country or whatever, and Marshall Jonas Hex going about his business. But they tied too much stuff in there again, like Vera said, trying to do an artsy style thing.
Where does Constantine fall out from the comic book standpoint?
Whew. I'm gonna let Furious and Kyle answer that.
So, what was your question?
Where does
Constantine.
Constantine?
Constantine.
He's not Marvel. Is he not DC? Where is he?
No,
He's DC.
He's
He's
DC.
he's DC.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's DC.
I like the Constantine. I actually watch it every time it comes on. I think it's great.
Speaking of which, they announced they're making a Constantine sequel
Yes,
With
they are.
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
with Keanu,
with
Keanu
very
Keanu
good.
Reeves. Yep.
Let's keep him busy so they can stop making them damn Matrix movies.
Oh no, there won't be.
That
They're
would
not
be-
doing any more Matrix.
They're not doing any more movies because I think Warner Brothers finally understood that whatever Wachowski stayed on to make the film, that they realized that was an FU to them, and they got the hint afterwards.
yeah. The whole film was they make me make this. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think after their earnings call today, they realized three biggest franchises that they have in their pocket: DC films, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter.
Mhm.
And they're going to focus on building up those worlds. So DC Studios is getting their own studio. I think Harry Potter is going to get their own studio.
They
And
have
Lord
it.
of the Rings, yeah. And then Lord of the Rings, of course, is I think their rights were purchased by somebody else.
I really
But
want
they-
them to stop making Lord of the Rings stuff too, though. Like, there's no more rings. We
What I
made-
thought was pretty solid because
Yeah.
they're showing how the rings, the other rings for
I
the
read the
different versions are being
Silmarillion.
made.
I don't need no more rings. No.
So I mean, spoiler alert: the elves get their rings first.
Right.
Mhm.
However, them dragons is great. The House of Dragon is awesome. I can't wait until 2024 when season 2 comes out.
I'll wait till my next Wednesday
I-
off to watch House of Dragon.
I would rather have rings than Batman.
Yes. Yes, that. He is right.
I'd rather have a cold than Batman.
Oh man. Oh my.
I'd rather have a cold. I'm sorry. I'm sick of it. There's a reason why Batman's costume isn't completely covering his face. He has to let them know he's white.
Yep. You can't run around beating people up all over town.
Well, no. So I was gonna say the more because they have the more recent Batman is actually a black man who actually does hide his face.
His face is open or covered?
It's covered
completely.
That's
covered.
why, because
Right. That's why, because he's black.
And he's riding on the fact that if he's been white for this long, they ain't gonna know I'm black now. I'm gonna cover my whole face and they're gonna let me keep beating people up.
Again, it's like with the Blue Marvel from Marvel. The second they find out he's not white, whoa, you can't do this anymore. You got to stop. So yeah, Kyle, you kind of killed your own point when you said he covers his whole face.
Yeah. You accidentally agree with us.
Damn.
You got to get them on the next DC panel.
All right, so oh man.
So with that, to wrap everything up and everything, I will ask Kyle, because you probably know the upcoming DC things coming up. What would be the next DC project you would love for us to discuss next?
So let's see. I know we've got Titans. I don't know how many of you watch Titans. I know the newest season just started. It just debuted or just came on HBO Max. Yeah, they got the first 2 episodes of the newest season up on HBO.
That's season 4.
Yeah. So that's one show. We really don't get any more films until next year.
Yeah,
so,
because everything got pushed back.
Because Shazam got pushed back. So yeah. I mean, I love DC, I love Marvel. If we're doing a Black Panther 2 pod, which I would assume we are, I would love to be on that. But I mean, DC projects.
Malachi's all on that, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. But I'd say if we want to do a Titans pod, we could definitely do that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now I've not watched any of Titans. Is it bingeable?
I will say the first season. I love talking.
No. So that's
yes and no. Yeah, yes and no.
When a fan is like,
yes. The first season,
how many episodes?
First season, yes.
Because I haven't.
First season,
yes. It's like 10.
I like
10
Starfire. I cosplay her.
They're not like long drawn out seasons. They're about 10 episodes a season.
Yeah,
and they're
Starfire is really good. Yeah,
and it's on my list. But I had started Doom Patrol first, and I haven't finished that yet either.
I have to finish Doom Patrol.
How is Doom Patrol? I haven't seen that either.
Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Somebody else, how is Doom Patrol? I don't know.
I haven't finished Doom Patrol yet.
I have not finished Doom Patrol, and I have not finished Titan because I've only seen the first 2 seasons of each show, Doom Patrol and Titan.
I think I'm behind. Stopped in the middle of season 2 of Doom Patrol.
And according to IMDb, Titans has got 4 seasons.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the Teen Titans. Doom Patrol I haven't watched.
I will say the only reason I struggle with Titans is with the same issue the fans had early in the 80s, and that's Jason Todd. So
that's the Robin we get.
You get
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson to start out with, but he becomes Nightwing during the show, and they introduce Jason Todd, and Jason Todd is just as annoying as I remember from the comic books.
Yeah.
So at some point, do they kill him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, so much for that binge.
DC is run by
I mean, it's been on this long. If you haven't watched the first 2 seasons at this point, that's on you. But they pretty much kill him just about as quickly as they introduced him.
I'm just thinking to myself, if it's Jason Todd, they've got to kill him. They've got to kill him.
But here's the kicker: they introduce him. He's like, "Yeah, since you dipped on Batman, I took over. I've only been in the role like 3 months," and it's like, "Pow, he's dead."
Yeah.
Wow, it's born to die.
Robin Long
person.
But yeah, they kill him just as fast as they intro him.
You know, another thing I want DC to do better is aside from rebooting Batman every 90 days, I want them to do origin stories. I think that's another thing that made the Marvel Universe better is everybody got their origin story before they threw them all together. Not everybody, but enough to where I cared about Iron Man and Captain America and whatnot before I saw the Avengers. And then, DC was like, hey, Justice League, and they gotta try to real quick tell you who Aquaman is and who Flash is and all these other people that just showed up in the middle of the movie. And I had that's why I fell asleep on it, because I had no interest in it. I didn't know who they were. And there were too many, they tried to do a lot of exposition in the middle of the movie, like, well, let's tell you how the backstory. I'm out. So kill somebody, fight something, shoot something, whatever. I need an explosion. And I think that was part of the problem too. If they had done, say, Wonder Woman first, and then give me an Aquaman movie, and then the Superman movie, y'all can keep that Batman nonsense, but give me those three, and then Justice League feels better,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a Flash movie before the Justice League movie?
As long as it's not
until you replace that Flash.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like that little boy, but sure.
Person, he's non-binary.
You like them.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I did not know that. I don't like them.
They are non-binary.
Yeah, they need to recast him, but they're keeping him. They're keeping them.
If I watch that movie, I'm sorry, it'll be bootlegged. I refuse to give that movie any money.
When you get that bootleg version, holla up. I will stroll through. We can watch that. Throw it up on the TV screen.
We can all watch it together.
And then we could all watch it here together, and we'll stream it so Simone and Kyle can watch it from where they at.
I'm good. I'm good. I don't even want to watch it.
And it's so sad because there's some wonderful Flash stories to be told. Ezra Miller aside, there's some.
He's not even,
and it's
Barry's not even the best Flash.
Like, DC should have been made a Flash movie. I mean, simply off the fact that you had a TV show that succeeded for all of one season in the 90s, and its only fault thing was what the world was going through because they kept moving the days. Because I want to say like the Gulf War was going on at the time that show was on. So they constantly kept having to shift the days because of breaking news coverage. That's the only reason it didn't succeed. But it was a wonderfully done show for the one season it got and the world building they were doing around it. Mm-hmm. And even with this current iteration of Flash, honestly, the first three seasons are very solid.
Mm-hmm. Yes, first three
very
seasons.
solid first 3 seasons. Season 4 hit or miss, and then after that, it's kind of like y'all doing too much. But y'all can do this on TV. Why hasn't this character been on your big screen? But they have an embargo on putting live action Batman on TV. Because notice, we haven't had a live action Batman on TV since Adam West. But we've had
you had that trash at the end of Gotham.
We had Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy.
I said live action.
No, you had that trash at the end of Gotham.
No. Because first of all, you're saying a word I don't know what you mean. What do you mean Gotham? What are you talking about?
That's part of that other universe, Kyle. That's part of the other universe where that so-called Avatar movie.
Are you talking about the show that was supposed to be Gotham Police Department, but they shoehorned a 12-year-old boy in there for no reason whatsoever, just to keep it relevant so people who didn't know about Batman could watch it? Yeah, we don't talk about that show.
And that's
what about when Kevin Conroy was on the big on screen?
That was a one-off. That doesn't count. I'm talking about like an actual seasonal portrayal, like episodic of an entire series.
I like Gotham.
Live action Batman series. Gotham wasn't even about Batman.
No.
Even though they tried to make it about Batman, it was more so about Jim Gordon than anything else.
Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be about. I got mad, like, okay, so you're gonna tell me that Batman and Selena Kyle and Joker and the Penguin and all these other people just existed around the city all this time, hanging out with each other, know each other's voices, and they're gonna grow up and have secret identities? Man, I know. No. That was just dumb. I could not get with that.
I agree with you.
So again, like I said, we haven't had a live action Batman since Adam West on TV because of an embargo. Like, there's not been a show seriously focused on Batman in live action since Adam West.
This is why you never get another.
And Warner Brothers is the one that's really saying no to that. But we've had, Superboy, 2 Supermen before that. We had Superman, Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman.
Smallville.
Smallville was fire. I like Smallville.
I'm not knocking any of these shows, but basically, and now Superman and Lois, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different Supermen on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't, not to mention what his movies as well. Granted, Christopher Reeve was the only one on big screen until Henry Cavill.
Brandon Routh.
But that's
Brandon Routh.
Oh, Brandon Routh. Sorry, forgot about him.
We forgot about him on purpose.
Yes, we did.
No, we will not forget about him on purpose.
Not really Brandon his
Routh.
fault, but
right.
I mean, all right, Brandon Routh. So yeah, 3 on big screen, but it's like there's so many other characters. It's like they keep wanting to go to the same Batman, Superman thing, but it's like give us these other characters, because honestly, the greatest Flash story is by far Flashpoint.
Yeah.
And I get it. You kind of don't want that to be the first thing out the gate, because I don't know where you go from there afterwards. But you got to do something to build up to that monumental.
Actually, no, James. Actually, no. Flashpoint could be the first thing out of the gate, because Flashpoint fixes all the bullshit that has happened up until this point.
True.
Flashpoint is your rebooting the universe movie.
Gives him a redo.
If they ever do it.
If they ever do it. Yeah.
Because we end up putting out another Batman movie after that, though.
I mean, because the Ezra Miller film was supposed to be that, but we don't know what we're going to get out of this now.
Right. And to me, the best part of the Ezra Miller Flash is going to be Michael Keaton.
What?
Yeah.
Michael Keaton is Batman in the Ezra Miller Flash. Yeah.
Finally, some continuity 40 years later.
Better late than never.
And apparently,
what's
her name? Diane Carter is who plays Wonder Woman in the
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter is in the Flash movie apparently as well.
Oh, now that I didn't know.
I didn't hear that either.
And there's footage of Christopher Reeves as Superman. So they pay homage to CGI, whether CGI or whether he's traveling through a stream and he sees Christopher Reeves Superman flying around. Who knows? But yeah, apparently those characters are in the Flash movie.
Interesting.
Okay, we'll see how that pans out.
It'll be a nice
but
bootleg.
Also, exactly, that's gonna be 2 bootlegs right there. But with that, of course, it's starting to get late and everything, and definitely want to be respectful of everybody's time. So everyone, definitely be on the lookout when we post about our next DC panel. But be on the lookout for our Black Panther 2 panel. Of course, we always give at least a couple weeks after the movie came out, so y'all all get a chance to watch it before we start talking about it. So y'all have until past Thanksgiving to watch it. Then the first week in December, we're going to be talking about it. So just, I don't want to hear anything if I haven't watched yet. We give y'all 2 weeks. That is the grace we give.
All I'm gonna say is I saw the first Black Panther 12 times, and between when it comes out and when we record, I might see it at least 4.
Yeah.
So, and of course, if you're in the Atlanta area, there are several big screenings. MCU is doing a screening on November 10th. They got 2 showings that if you want to get your tickets to be part of that, definitely MCU. If you go to they have their tickets for sale, and then a couple other places are doing screenings. So definitely get your tickets, supported like we did the first movie. So we continue getting what we want from Black Panther.
So I'm gonna say support it like you did the first movie, but don't be bringing like chitlins and collard greens in the movie like y'all did last time. I'm asking you, please don't bring it.
What did you go to?
Yo, when I was in Houston, folks was like catering their food into the movie theater. Like, I understand you bought out the theater, but you
so you went to one that you sit down with, there's food?
No, I went to one that was stadium seating, but there was a little chafing dish and some stuff on the side. And this chick had bought out, like, she didn't even buy out the whole theater. She had a lot of seats. and had food for her people. They had macaroni and cheese and chicken. I mean, they had soul food, and I don't know how they got it in there.
I mean,
that
but what is
not happening? And that wasn't the only instance of that, because I saw that
worked at the theater and snuck them in.
I guess, but I also heard about it happening in other places all around. I do highly encourage all the viral dances and things that happened afterwards and whatnot. And we're gonna be doing this with the emojis again. So for everything that happened last time, except don't be bringing food. I'm right. Don't be bringing food from outside in the theater. All I ask.
All right, but yeah, everybody make sure you get your proper attire. Give y'all support on opening weekend. Like y'all came in for Black Adam for these last 2 weekends. Let's do it for Black Panther 2 also. But once again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Definitely see y'all next Thursday, where our sports panel will be talking about things that are going on in the sports world. So definitely,
Go Eagles.
Oh, Kyle, we can commiserate on something. You an Eagles fan?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh
my
gosh.
Yeah.
No.
So there's something redeemable about you after all.
Dana, can you mute the both of them, Dana?
Go ahead and play the outro.
Just mute the both of them.
That's redeemable quality.
Well, I'm with Philly. My Yankees are not in it, so I gotta go to my neighbor, sister of brotherly love.
So I gotta go with the Astros. I'm not rooting for the team who put my Braves out of the playoffs. Nope.
Yeah, I'm from Houston, so
yeah, they just won today. I'm watching the game right now. The Eagles won today. So
yes.
Well, I'll watch it tomorrow. So good old Amazon Prime replay.
There you go. Everybody definitely tune in at 8:30 next week for our sports panel, where our panelists, James, I know Joy won't be able to join us because they got her working, but we're going to have our other panelists on there to talk. Definitely Simone, Kyle, if y'all want to join, let me know. We'll have y'all part of the panel, talk some sports stuff. But everyone, thank you for tuning in. Have a great evening, and we'll see y'all next weekend. Next Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
see ya.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then. When they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will. So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves, can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.